Hello, listening people.
Hello.
You're listening to Spit and Polish Presents Unappreciated Masterpieces. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Sliwinski.
And I'm the second one, Bartek.
Hi, Bartek, how are you?
Very
No need to explain anymore because we are doing...
good, but a bit slow today.
Okay, we are doing our show Unappreciated Masterpieces. It's a show in which we do audio commentary tracks for the movies that seemingly don't deserve audio commentary tracks. And since we're in that time of year, you know the time of year, the second month of the year where we do a themed month.
Ah, the one that has two R's.
Yep, and an F's in there. We do a themed month. So in previous years we did old dog movies or
Dog
movies that are just two movies, so duology and so on and so forth. This year we are covering an unappreciated individual and their works that are also unappreciated. Who is that individual? Whose works of unappreciated masterpieces are we covering?
Have you guys ever heard of a little man called Kevin Smith?
Little?
Well,
No,
he's
I
unappreciated, so I
Okay.
assume we have to belittle him.
I thought you meant physically little, and I'm like, that's not an adjective most people would describe him as.
I haven't looked up his height.
You got me there. So we're covering Kevin Smith movies. So what was the one we did last week, just to cover people in?
We did Jersey Girl.
Jersey Girl?
Yes, but we know that as Jersey Girl.
But Bartek,
Bartek.
we are spin Polish likingly because we're always spitting, and we both happen to be Polish, which is a major factor because the next part of the show is where I ask you the title, and you tell it to me in Polish, and I don't understand Polish because I don't speak the language, but you do, and that's what makes us different.
Isn't the next part where we explain what an unappreciated masterpiece is?
I already kind of did that.
Okay.
So what is the movie?
The movie that we are doing this week on Unappreciated Masterpieces is, and I'll try not to laugh,
I won't either.
because I have to put a Polish accent on a word that sounds kind of funny with a Polish accent.
Okay.
Zack and Miri kręcą porno. It's very difficult for me to say porno with a Polish accent.
No, I laughed at your Zach.
Zach?
No,
Zach?
yeah, now you're getting there. Okay. Are we watching a pornography movie? Is that what we're watching?
Ryan, please. We don't do porn on this show. Maybe on Mystery Box, but not on Unappreciated Masterpieces.
Not yet. Not
Not yet.
I don't know.
Are you telling me, why do you think that a film called Zack and Miri kręcą porno is a porn?
Is a porn? I don't know, man. It just maybe it's the word Zach. When I think of Zach, I get turned on. That's just a medical. That's just a medical. Oh, who isn't? And that's just a medical fact. When you think of the word Zach, everyone gets turned on.
Didn't you use his last name as a verb?
Yeah,
once?
for masturbating.
Yeah.
You braff yourself.
No wonder.
Yeah. So, Bartek, what does that translate into for those people who don't speak Polish like myself? And
Well-
everyone listening.
Zack goes into Zack.
Oh.
E means and.
Ah.
Miri means Miri.
Ah. Is Miri short for Miriam?
Maybe.
It is.
Miriam, maybe.
Yeah.
Kręcą means recording.
Oh.
And porno means a porno.
Ah, so Zack and Miri record porno.
That doesn't sound right.
Is that what we're
Oh,
watching?
it's a localized title. It's Zack and Miri make a porno.
Zack and Miri make a porno from 2008.
Yes.
2008, all those years ago, like 11 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well.
That's just... Remember 2008?
I was in year 9.
I assume you were, but Bartek, we don't do this alone.
Shout out to Miss Galbreedis.
I'm sure she's fucking listening. She's sitting at home and she's listening to the audio commentary track for freaking Zack and Miri make a porno, and she's like, he mentioned me, and her husband high fives her.
That was also the year I bought a Nintendo Wii.
What an investment that was, Bartek.
Supernatural Brawl.
We have a guest.
Yes, we do.
Who is the guest? What is the guest?
Ryan,
How are the guests?
I'm so glad you asked, and I don't know the guest's last name, but
Nor
our
do
guest,
I, if you want to know.
our guest is a fellow podcaster.
Ah.
His name is Liam.
Liam?
Yes.
Liam Neeson? Because it's not a good time to be a Liam Neeson right now.
What? Why?
It's a tough time to be a Liam in general right now.
Hi, Liam.
Hi.
What are you from?
I am from a podcast. My podcast is named Miscellameous. Your phone will tell you that you're spelling miscellaneous wrong. That's correct. Just change the N to an M. We do a quiz podcast. We get guests on, and hopefully like yourselves very shortly.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so.
I'm down.
I play some audio memes, and you have to guess which one has more plays on YouTube. And at the end, we give the winner a prize that I procure off Wish.com for $0 plus $2 to $4 shipping. #WishTag.
Do you have a last name?
I do. It is Wilbrink, Liam Wilbrink. I inherited it off my wife, actually. It's Dutch.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you and your wife combined names, so your last name was Will and her name is Brink, and you're like, let's merge these together. And I'm like, what a great name.
Right on.
I mean, if that was the case, she had a last name, and you would have just had another first name.
No,
Liam Will.
I took my wife's name, and to anyone out there who was thinking of doing that, I would suggest not doing it, because there's a lot of paperwork in like Australia that exists where if you want to change your name legally, like on your passport or on your license, there's no version of that for a male.
Right.
And you have to apply for like special conditions to do it. I didn't realize this.
And they say that males are privileged.
Yeah. I guess. Hashtag me too.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to change the topic, but what's this about Liam Neeson?
We can get into it in the episode.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
for those people listening at home, which I imagine most people are, unless you're listening on the train or in a studio, if you're a fellow podcast, and you're like, guys, before we start our session of Miscellameous, let's listen to the episode with Liam on it. And the other guys are just like, Liam? His last name's Wilbrink. No, thank you.
He will bring the lols.
It's of no consequence.
It's of no consequence. So what you guys have to do at home is get a copy of the film Zack and Miri Make a Porno. Of course, we have a copy. I'm going to do a countdown from 3, and I'm going to say play, and you're going to press play, and hopefully we'll be lined up as we speak about the master class of cinema that is a Kevin Smith product that is Zack and Miri Make a Porno. So get ready, because I'm going to start this in 3, 2, 1, play. So, Bartek, you haven't heard about Liam Neeson, huh?
I think I might have read his name recently.
I have also read his name.
Being in some interview about something, but I don't know what
He accidentally called himself out for some racism of his part.
Yeah, okay.
So it's a weird story, almost as weird as the fact that Zack and Miri starts with complete and utter silence other than church bells, and then randomly Winona's Big Brown Beaver kicks in out of nowhere, and I thought I accidentally left Spotify on for some mysterious reason. So Liam Neeson went into an interview, and out of nowhere, no real reason, he just decided to tell this story about, like, you know, he's doing this new movie, it's about revenge, and he decided to tell us a story about revenge in his own life and how it's bad. And his story is basically someone he knew in the past, many decades ago, had unfortunately been raped, and raped by a black person. So he decided he was so angry that he went out on the streets with a crowbar, and he hoped that he would encounter any black person and beat them to death.
Oh dear.
And then he immediately is like, I'm not a racist after this.
Unfortunate.
And then the best part, I don't know if you've heard about this, Liam, but Michelle Rodriguez has defended him as not being racist by saying, have you seen him in the film Widows? He kisses black women in that, and you can tell he clearly loves them because his tongue is so far down their throats. And it's just like, and she's not saying it as a joke. She's saying this as a legitimate defense.
Part of me was thinking, like, oh, is it actually like some sort of noble thing where he's admitted his wrongdoings? But...
I mean, he tried to make it sound noble, but at the same time, it's weird. It's okay. It's okay. Gabriel Byrne was always the better Irish actor anyway. So
Can I say one thing I do really like about the start of this and one thing I don't like?
Go on.
Okay, one thing I really do like is that they've gone through the trouble of getting a car that is so
shit,
absolutely like at the end of its rope, and whenever they open the door, you see it drop roughly half an inch.
Yeah, I noticed that actually,
and I love that. What I don't like is this part. I don't like how he's putting this like heat warmer in his pants, which is kind of funny on its own. But then later, when they try to joke about it singeing his hairs,
well, here's a fun fact.
Yeah.
I also complained about this, and my fiancée, Rachel, who was the Jersey Girl expert, looked over at me and said, no, they can seriously burn you. You are not supposed to put them in areas like under your armpits or anything, because they will burn you.
Yeah,
so
they absolutely will, but they're not going to singe your hair.
I think he was being hyperbolic.
Yeah. He's taking some taking some liberties with that one.
The biggest shock in this movie, I'm going to say it right out the gate, having never seen this movie, was what I felt like was 20 minutes of me denying to myself that Superman was in this movie. The Superman Returns actor, Brandon...
I read the trivia.
Brendan Routh or whatever. He plays...
The other gay guy, right?
He plays the Bobby Long.
Yeah.
The guy that she's swooning after. And then it shocked me to my core to look him up, and he still has an acting career.
Oh, what's he doing?
He does superhero stuff all the time.
Oh.
Like, he's in, one of those DC shows or whatever that's on TV, or one of those superhero shows, like the Legends of the World or whatever shows. Yeah. And he does lots of voice acting, and he's just in stuff still. And I just thought his career died, and we've never seen him again after Superman Returns.
Right.
Because I think he was a male model turned actor, and we're all like, we can tell. But he was in this movie, and I was just like, is that Superman? No. Justin Long wouldn't get Superman.
It's Brandon from high school.
So... what is our histories with this amazing movie, Bartek?
Hey, you revealed yours, right?
Yeah, but I could get into more of it. Bartek, what you touched on it last episode, but hit us again.
This is the only Kevin Smith film that I'd seen prior to this month. I saw it some point within the last 10 or 9 years ago on DVD at my stepbrother's house one night.
Oh, yeah. And
it's something he'd seen before, and he just showed it to me.
And what did you think at the time?
I remember having a good time with it. You know, it was a comedy. We liked, this stable of actors like Seth Rogen. We enjoyed stoner comedies.
But this isn't a stoner comedy.
I know, but he's in a lot of them. You know.
Oh, is he? Remember when Seth Rogen and James Franco nearly started the Third World War against North Korea because they made The Interview, and then when everyone watched The Interview, they went, this?
Yeah. That was a bit 2014, I think.
Yeah.
And Sony were such pussies that they didn't release it in the theaters because they were afraid. And it's like, this movie? I just want to point out, I think Bartek's favorite character is this young gentleman, the owner of the coffee store. I was watching it going, this is a Bartek favorite character archetype of angry old person with a thick accent. These are just checkboxes.
I will absolutely back that. He's easily the best character in this movie.
So we know who Liam's favorite character is.
He's good. I quite liked, what's his name, Jason Mewes?
Yes, Jason Mewes. Yeah. He's always great. I mean, if you want to see more of him, just watch any other Kevin Smith movie, basically, because that's all he really appears in.
Well, again, I have Clerks on DVD, so I
that's
watch
the big
that at some
one.
point.
That's the big one. So you had seen this. You haven't revisited it other than for this?
No. Whenever I think about it, I remember two scenes in particular. There's obviously the poo scene, which I mentioned last week.
The frosting.
And also, and I forgot the context behind this, but the scene where they're watching the recording of Zack and Miri having sex and like
and
Craig,
editing. Yep.
Yeah, and Craig Robinson is it Robinson or Robertson?
Robinson.
What Craig Robinson's pointing at, like, you look how boring and passionate this is. In my head, I was thinking that was like a big revelation scene, but then
it kind of is.
Yeah. No, but they realize that they're into each other before that.
Oh no, but it is a big it's like the third act kick up the butt for him to go back to her.
Yeah, it is that.
So it is a revelation scene.
I remember it being more significant though, not like in the second last scene.
Sorry, I think Liam and I were both laughing at the old Indian man. We miss him. That's his last scene. His only scene.
If he was in it if he was in it more, I could have.
I really would have loved if at the end of the credits, he ejects a videotape and everything has been recorded. Like, this movie is his security footage thing, and he's just like, no, and just like throws the.
I was thinking like maybe if he had a second camera.
Yeah. He had a second camera.
I was thinking like a cursor clicks the X in the top right corner, and it pans out to him just masturbating.
That's actually really good.
That's good, yeah.
And then it becomes an unfriended movie out of nowhere. And he's like, his computer's haunted. Yeah. And he's like, oh no!
He had Skype open in the back.
He was using Windows 8, and he's like, oh no! The worst! No, it was with Vista back then.
I hear a lot of people don't really like Seth Rogen, and it's
I am one of those people.
Really, I find it really unfair. And a lot of the feedback people give is that he's just the same person in every movie. And there's a few actors that are more than a few actors that are guilty of that. Yeah. But at the same time, I feel like he's so true to himself, and I really respect about even people in general, people in my life. I respect people who just know what they're about. You know what I mean?
I agree. Like, I haven't been a huge Seth Rogen fan. I mean, we've had him on the show, not like 2 or 3 times. The Green Hornet, where he actually did flex his acting muscle and show that he could do different
stuff. We did the Green Hornet,
Observe and Report,
the Guilt Trip,
the Guilt Trip,
and then Observe and Report, and
all very different roles. And this one is more the archetypical role that we would see him play, this kind of loser kind of guy. I've always thought that he was a Beavis and Butthead character that's come to life.
All right, yeah.
Look, my history with this movie is I had never seen it before having to do this show. I remember the advertising very heavily. I remember in my brain it was one of the first Seth Rogen-led comedies, because usually at that point I remember him in 40-Year-Old Virgin, and he was a minor character, and I can't remember when the pregnant one, Knocked Up, came out.
I was looking.
I thought it was around the same time.
I was looking him up on Wikipedia after watching this film. I think they were all before that.
So I love you trying to be like, I looked up on Wikipedia and Liam in the background there.
But I looked him up while the moon was out.
Yeah,
it was at night, so it works.
I did make a bet with my fiance that we would see his ass in the first 20 minutes of the movie, and I was not disappointed. I thought it was going to be when he was getting the thing out of his pants. I thought he was going to show us his ass.
But how strongly did Rachel doubt that?
She thought it would be more when they started making porn.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense, I guess.
You see less, though.
You see incredibly, you see less of his body. Which is insane.
This is one of 2 movies off the top of my head that I can remember seeing an unsheathed dong as well. Because there's that scene later on when Jay is just like walking down the hallway.
That is correct.
Yeah, and the only other one I can think of is
Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story.
Oh, I forgot about that.
We saw one in the other Seth Rogen.
I was going to say Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Oh yes,
famously at the start. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Observe and Report had a streaker in it.
Yes, that is an old man. Right. So, Liam? Tell us about your history with this amazing cinematic masterpiece.
Well, actually, I wouldn't say I've ever been like a super big fan of like looking into the backgrounds of movies. A lot of times I forget actors' names and stuff like that. I'm a pretty casual like a viewer of movies in that regard. But this movie has 2 leading roles of 2 people that I just generally like. I feel like
I like Elizabeth Banks.
Yeah, and I just feel like I would just get along with these people in a regular circumstance, and it makes it a lot easier for me to watch. I saw this in the movies when it came out. That makes me a touch older than you guys.
I guess.
I'm in my mid-30s, by the way.
Right, yeah, we would have to get adults to come take us.
Yeah, we turned 15.
Yeah.
So tell us more.
Wait.
At the time,
this one's MA, right? So we would have.
I think it would have been R because of its content.
But I remember seeing billboards for it.
I mean, yeah, but it's because it was a big comedy with Seth Rogen. And you got to remember, Bartek, films like The 40-Year-Old Virgin, Knocked Up, and a lot of these raunchy comedies were becoming mainstream successes again.
Yes,
but this is also...
That's the reason why you would have seen advertisements.
But this is also a film that has porno in the title, and a lot of the advertisers don't want to advertise films with that word in it.
Yeah, but tough shit.
Okay, fair enough.
And Seth Rogen himself, I guess the movies he's been involved with, they've never really shied away from, movies that are not going to get commercial acumen because, like you said before, they literally couldn't release a movie because Korea opposed it,
Yeah, exactly.
So...
It's a lot of moving pieces. So you saw it back in the day.
Yeah.
Had you revisited it any time since?
I had not
for this.
I had not revisited it, and there is one really specific reason why.
Okay. Go on. Tell us your lame old reason, Miscellameous.
I struggle with
male nudity
with scenes that have really awkward components to them. That
you must be a big fan of the British Office then.
Yeah, it's tough. Like I do love it, but at the same time I can't rewatch it.
Yeah, awkward humor is a tough.
Are you talking about like cringe comedy?
Yeah, cringe.
Yeah. Like Flight of the Conchords, stuff that's just really cringy when you watch it. And there's that very specifically the scene when they're going to actually film their part
Yes.
for the porno is just cringy.
Yeah, my fiance was curling in a ball.
Yes, that's me. Yeah,
You gotta love trivia fact that Elizabeth Banks just actually fell.
Yeah,
She didn't.
so-
That wasn't
really?
scripted. That wasn't
Genuine
scripted. That was just genuine. She slipped over, and I'm just like, the moment where they killed Elizabeth Banks, huh?
Yeah.
So you're not a big fan of. I mean, you're not a big fan of cringe humor in the sense that you wouldn't want to rewatch it, but you're okay with watching it the one time. I get that. Like,
I understand.
cringe comedy, I appreciate, but
Yes.
it's not the one that I jump to straight off the bat.
Exactly it. Yeah.
I feel like cringe comedy, it's a tough one to really balance because you're going to walk the very thin line of it just being awkward and it being funny.
It's really crazy. Yeah, it's
and
like,
when you have awkward and lack of comedy in your awkward comedy, then you're like really fucked.
it's uncomfortable on a social level rather than like a deep psychological. Well, I
Yeah,
guess it is.
yeah.
But it's like, here's an example. Oh, also, awkward humor can not only be secondhand embarrassment, but also cringe-worthy. Like, I'm not gonna name any names, Flash from Justice League, but he was awkward humor and he was cringy.
I've heard that there's also a very strong element of sympathy because you imagine yourself in that situation.
In that situation, yes, it's the age-old,
I definitely when I was
second-hand empathy. And
when I was watching that scene, I was like, "Oh man, this is really cringy." But then I had to remind myself that's what they're going for.
That's what they're going
So
for.
they're actually doing a really damn good job.
It's like you can't fault a movie for succeeding in what it's achieving. It took me so long in this scene to also come to grips that this woman was not Amy Adams or Kristen Wiig. She was not either of those women.
Yeah.
She was in fact someone else. And
Isla Fisher.
It was Isla Fisher. Ha, that other redhead woman. And in the background, Jessica Chastain's there, just jazz handing it up. And behind her is Bryce Dallas Howard. It's like,
And it was Danny DeVito all along.
It was Danny DeVito all along. I quite, having to see this for the first time. So I'm the odd one in the room here, not having seen this before. I had certain.
Whereas we have a decade behind us. So
but you had seen it
for sure.
You had
I
seen
get
it,
you,
so you got something to go off. So even
Yeah.
if you didn't see it in the 10 years when you were rewatching it, things would have been like, oh yeah, this.
We had subconscious in
Me,
it.
I had a certain expectation that I thought this was going to be a real nihilistic, gross out type comedy movie. And I was completely surprised that it was a sweet, tender romance story.
I'd agree with that.
Comedy that serves the narrative, and it has the celebration of creation, like of being a creative spirit. And even though it's them making pornography, it's a band of misfits band together to make a movie kind of thing. Like it's basically Ed Wood if he was making porn. And it's one of those ones where it's like you want to see the movie that they made. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I was really taken aback.
producers,
I was really taken aback by that because I was waiting for the pin to drop. Because I'll be honest with you, the first 15 minutes didn't ease the pain of me thinking this was going to be that type of movie because they're saying the F-bomb all the time, and a lot of those type of comedies really rely on the crutch of just swearing for the sake of swearing. But I eventually eased up on that, and it introduced more characters, and I felt like I was in good hands once Justin Long came into the picture. I was like, okay, I see what they're doing.
Definitely,
and then I was worried when Justin Long wasn't coming back again, and I'm like, come back, Justin. But then it warmed my heart.
For me, Seth Rogen's character, the titular Zack, his character reminded me a lot of his character from Observe and Report up until they started actually making the porn, because a lot of his dialogue was the kind of like extreme, unapologetic, like swearing and all these like comebacks, which, he's an improvising guy. Once they started making the porn, they started having a lot more like, funny elements to them. I when you were talking before, I mentioned the producers. Like there's that element of, they're making a product within the movie itself. So there's like that awkward, like low budget comedy, which I really like.
Here's the thing too. I didn't feel the same way about him feeling like his character from Observer Report. Here's the thing. Weirdly enough, I felt like his character type would be something Chevy Chase would have played. Not this exact character, but in the terms of his character in the first 20 minutes of this movie is the arrogant, smarmy, smart guy who always has quips to make.
Yep.
And he's also a dumbass.
Yeah.
Like in this whole sequence here, he is the one who's not the idiot in the situation.
Yeah,
like he's making fun of her, he's making fun of him,
That
he's
is
making fun of
true.
Justin
Unlike
Long.
Observe and Report, he is around some lower intelligence people.
And he is dumb. But it's like in this, he was actually smart, which I don't usually associate that with Seth.
Yeah. Well,
really
smart
good point.
versus clever, right? Like,
Yeah.
he'd be more clever than he is smart.
clever,
Otherwise, he'd
yeah.
be doing something with his life. I can really relate to this particular like set of scenes.
The whole high school reunion.
To a degree, yeah, because I mean, my high school reunion never happened, and I don't know if you guys have been out of school for like more than 10 years.
Finished
Ours will be coming up-
2011.
Ours will be coming up soon.
2021.
2021.
So
Is 10 years the, the
Yeah.
time
10
frame?
years is the go-to, I think, for
Unless
most
your school
people.
is really pathetic and really want you to
Well,
do it soon.
I went to private
Yeah.
school, and I see
So the
advertisements.
answer is
Oh
yes.
yeah, you absolutely. I went to a shitty public school. That's why it never happened. And I'm kind of glad it didn't because honestly, these are the people that I grew up with when I had like social anxieties and I was self-conscious. And me to return to that crowd of people in my current state, this ridiculous confidence that I live my life in, unfounded, mind you.
Yeah,
like
you're
I would
yeah,
be
I
like
got
that.
my wife's name.
Yeah.
So what? So what? You want to fight? You want to fight? I'm not afraid to fight.
Dude,
And
I
they're
would
like,
be
Whoa, okay.
exactly that. I would be doing exactly what he's doing.
Well,
I mean,
wanting
maybe
to-
not asking this girl to jerk me off, but like
Not that girl?
Yeah, no, maybe
But
just
another
Me neither.
girl.
I went to an all guys school.
What? You already shouted out a teacher.
You did the
so
Dutch
come
runner
on,
then.
it
That was
could
from
be-
that was from the other high school I went to.
Hey, that high school might have a reunion, and you could go to
They
both.
did, and it was like a few months after we graduated.
wow, that's bizarre.
That's really pathetic.
Probably still in touch with each other. Like,
Yeah, man. I love. Yeah.
In the
It's
time
very low key.
in the time that I left high school, Facebook was made. Like,
Wow. Yeah.
like
No,
I got it
I
in
don't
the
know if
tens,
my
yeah.
school will because rural Australia
You
public school. I don't think they'll.
You've said a lot of
bother.
good
Right,
things
right.
about that school.
Oh, I love my high school. Oh yeah.
oh, the glory days.
How are the criminal teachers, Ryan?
Oh yeah, my teachers that were like should not be allowed to be teachers. Yeah. No, this scene I did enjoy very much. I always
this guy, by the
enjoyed. Oh, wow!
I'm sorry.
Wow, what a mean comment to make to a very upbeat guy. Now, can we talk about the peacock in the room that is Justin Long? He's so
Yes.
mesmerizing.
He is.
I don't think we've seen him since Old Dogs on this show.
I love Justin Long. I defend Justin Long when no one else does.
Really? I feel like he draws the camera.
He does. I
He's
mean,
off center, and you're still looking at him. You know what I mean?
yeah, that and the black guy in the background.
Yeah.
but he's not looking at us, so we don't want to look.
He
at him.
was when I said it to begin with. Now he turned
There's
his
also
back.
people making out in the pictures.
making
yeah,
out.
yeah.
They're wrestling.
Are they?
Yes, they're in wrestling
It's hard.
outfits.
It's hard to tell
Wrestling.
with the black guy.
They're
in the way.
wrestling. They're wrestling, Bartek, making out.
All right, these people are making out, right?
But
Oh, you're right. They are wrestling.
Justin Long is one of those actors that I always quite enjoy, and I like with him. He's like that generation's David Spade.
Okay, yeah.
That kind of wimpy, effeminate, kind of pathetic guy that's got this unfounded bravado that is just kind of sad. That's him in this movie, but he's like actually a winner in life.
Yeah.
I will be 100% honest with you. I thought he was going to be a more pivotal role in the movie. I thought he was going to help them in their pornography
Me too.
adventures,
Yeah.
and then he didn't, and he never came back until the very, very, very end, the end credits.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be a stronger catalyst. Yeah.
I thought he was going to be
Which is-
like, oh, darling, here's what you do.
Which is
and
funny
then
'cause-
maybe you get one of those scenes where it's like him giving them a monologue about all the stuff they do, and then you watch how they do none of those things correctly or
Right,
something.
yeah.
Which is funny because they do get a guy that gets pegged by a woman in one of those shots.
Yes. So, yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
and then
yes,
like a
they do.
dominatrix style woman as well.
I mean, Traci Lords, real life former pornography actress.
Right.
I mean, there's a few porno actresses in this, but Traci Lords is. I'll get into
Yeah, the
her.
two
She's a
women,
very
right?
infamous pornography
The
actress.
YouTube comments seem to recognize her. Yeah.
Oh no, she's also an actress too. Like
Yeah.
that's why she's.
That was
we'll
my
get
next
into
question.
I think
that.
Actually,
Rodrigo
yeah.
also mentioned her.
Maybe we'll talk about it when she comes up a bit later.
When
Then.
she comes up.
Yeah.
Comes up.
Comes
Yeah. So, Bartek, are you familiar with the comedy works of the people like Seth Rogen and Elizabeth Banks, the two leads in the movie?
I'm not sure about Elizabeth Banks. I might have seen a lot of her, but I definitely recognize Seth Rogen, and even outside of the 4 films we've done for this podcast, I've seen him in other things.
Elizabeth Banks is never usually the lead She's usually like, she's in Pitch Perfect, for example, as one of the commentators with John Michael Higgins, who's also one of those actors that's always the supporting role. Them, or Fred Willard, or, you know, such and such. And this is one of the few movies I can think of where she's a lead role, and I kind of just go, give her more lead roles.
Yes.
She's compelling.
I love her.
I've usually seen her more as kind of corporate people, or like your hostess, or kind of more someone who's more business orientated. In this, she's playing like a fucking piece of trash.
Yeah.
I really did buy that she was in love towards the end of the film, though.
Oh,
She's great.
She was really good.
She's so good.
She's also hot, so that also is a good tick.
Yeah.
They originally wanted...
She's wearing a dress, so it's pretty cool.
They originally wanted Rosario Dawson to play this role.
Oh, yeah, it was written for her, right?
Yeah, it was written with Rosario Dawson in mind.
Right, okay.
And I could see Rosario doing this role really well also.
Yeah,
Because
sure.
she has some comedic chops, but also she's an interesting presence as an actress. I mean, we loved her in Unforgettable.
I was thinking, yeah.
And everyone loves her in those Marvel Netflix shows that are getting cancelled one by one.
Are there a lot of superhero
which one's
TV
next?
actors in this film?
They're just making the switch
Yes.
to Disney's
Oh,
version.
well, meant to be, because of
I think there
Rosario
really are a lot of superhero TV actors in this movie.
Dawson. Well, Seth Rogen was a movie one, so it doesn't count.
Sorry, I'm laughing at his butt again.
Yeah.
I love that he could recognize that it's her by the fact that you don't even see her face in that video, and he's like, "Oh my!"
Well, she turns around at some point.
Yeah, she does.
She doesn't
she
look at
does?
the camera, but she turns.
She does, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
later on in the movie, they say they don't know us. They know my panties and your ass.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you're right. Oh, sorry, I should say like he did. Yeah, you're right. Peg me. No,
Well, he doesn't get pegged.
that weird little guy does.
Should we explain what pegging is for the
Do we
listening
want
people?
to? Do you want
I
to?
mean, it's when a guy receives anal from, like, a sex toy, right?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Bartek.
Yeah.
You said it very eloquently.
Yeah, I mean, like...
It was very
that was
complicated,
good.
that's why
Thanks
we
for
were
cutting that
debating.
off as well. And you did it without any dead air, which I really, like... I
Yeah.
respect that. That was great.
Yeah, I respect pegging too. Yeah, we all respect pegging in this house.
Dude,
Yeah.
Dude, if, like I said, you know what you're about.
Miscellaneous. They should call it Miscellameous.
Yeah.
Woo.
Well, look, if you know what you're about, I'm not going to judge that, man. That's chill.
Yeah, exactly. Unless it's illegal, then.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm looking at you criminals out there. I'm not pro
Your former
criminals.
teachers?
I'm not.
What was
pro-
her name, Mrs.
Your
who we
teacher?
shouting out to?
Your teacher, Bartek, who we shouting out
She
to?
was lovely.
How
Okay,
do we?
alright.
But Bartek, it's been 11 years. Maybe things have changed.
What could
She's
happen
on
in
a
11
life
years?
of crime now.
She was really nice. I don't want her to
She's
change.
Thanos now.
She's off the
got like
wagon.
she's got a glove
Well,
of power. She's
Well,
ready to snap
he
us.
has good intentions, right?
Thanos?
Yeah?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
You don't believe Thanos has good intentions?
No, he's
Should we get into this while we're watching Zack and
he's-
I
Miri?
haven't seen
Well,
the
no,
film.
Because
no,
I
no,
could
no,
talk.
my okay, briefly to make Thanos a thing, his ideology makes sense for a psychopath.
Yes.
And I love those people online, those snarky people who are like, I noticed a flaw in the movie. If you break down Thanos' motivation, it's really stupid, because if he wants to kill half of life, why doesn't he provide, like, more food if he wants to save life? And it's just like, because the guy's a psychopath. Because the whole premise is he wants to kill half of life to preserve life because of overpopulation, whatever. And it's like the theory is, well, if his glove can do anything, why can't he make everyone immortal or not hungry or make more food and more medicine? And it's just like, because the dude's a psychopath. That's why.
I mean, you know,
I love those people who are like, I didn't notice the point of the movie that was showing that he's a psychopath.
Yeah.
It was like, oh.
We call them contrarians, Ryan.
No, we're not talking about the Contrarian podcast.
Why'd you disagree with me? Are you a contrarian?
You got me there. I'm like, Jesus, you nailed me.
He's not a contrarian.
Oh, for
actually,
the Romans he was.
There was the people
For the
selling.
Jews he was.
There were the people selling in the church, and he's like, no, don't do that.
So, I want to ask a question. Where is this movie set? Is this like in Canada? Because they like hockey.
Oh, I remember
Yeah.
the trivia said
But,
that it was filmed somewhere, but set some. I think it's set in Philadelphia or filmed in Philadelphia. But
it might be Pittsburgh. I'm pretty sure the hockey team is Pittsburgh Penguins. Is that a thing?
I will take your word.
I'm not
for it.
I'm not big into hockey, and I'm sorry
Thanks,
if anyone
George.
who's listening is like really into NHL. I apologize in advance,
NHL.
but I think it might be.
National Hockey League.
Yeah,
National Hockey League.
I think it might be Pittsburgh.
Just to cover us.
If you're listening and you're hockey-roo, we're sorry.
Don't say sorry. Say sorry.
Sorry. So, look, Bartek, have you ever been so poor and down on your luck that you've thought about making a porno?
I've never been poor and down on my luck.
Well, there you go.
But I have thought about making a porno.
How would this movie be if it was James Franco's Elizabeth Banks and they were doing the edgy gay version of this, like Adam Sandler would do with Kevin James?
That'd be so
with
funny,
I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry, where it's like, there was this period of time in like the mid-2000s, which is really almost slips over from being in, but like that 2000s time where all these comedy movies were like edgy material, but then they're really sweet movies, this one. Like 40-Year-Old Virgin. The guy's a 40-year-old virgin and he wants to fuck. And then you watch the movie, it's like this really tender, awkward but sweet love story, and then it's like, knocked up! Katherine Heigl got knocked up! And then you watch this movie, it's like this fucking family drama, basically. All of these movies, like Forgetting Sarah Marshall. It's like, woo woo. It's like, she's a hot woman, and there's Russell Brand, and he's a creep. And then you watch the movie, he's like the nicest guy.
Yeah.
And it's like a fucking guy from How I Met Your Mother's the creepy one, and Forgetting Sarah Marshall. I love all of these movies, like, from this era, where it's like the premise sounds like the most disgusting thing ever. They're actually the most sweet movies.
Yeah.
Like, this is... like I said, I was really taken aback by how genuinely sweet this was. But then again, this is by the guy who did Jersey Girl.
Yeah, I was about to say, maybe some of Jersey Girl dripped into the script or something.
Into it. So...
From Tears.
From Tears.
Of being emotional.
He was writing it, like, single father Ben Affleck.
George Carlin couldn't come to this one and he died while filming.
I love the idea that it's like Kevin Smith's like your Garth Marenghi type, where he's like, the paper is my heart and I write on the wind. The Bible was the first horror book. That kind of stuff. So, Liam, what is your relationship with the auteur-director that is Kevin Smith?
I had watched a couple of Kevin Smith movies without having realised they were his, or known anything about him, and had sort of like, just picked up that it was the same director. And the most prominent movie of his that I'd seen and I thought was super funny and I really enjoyed was Clerks 2.
Ah, yes.
And I was like, and me and my friends, we were super into that movie. And only then did I realize, there's
a Clerks 1.
Yeah. No, I'd seen Clerks 1. I don't love it as much as like diehard Kevin Smith fans do. I prefer Clerks 2.
It was a movie of its time.
Yeah, absolutely.
It served a great purpose for the indie film circuit, which is why it's one of those. It's a time capsule.
Oh well, part of this film is like inspired by the making of that, right? Because he's like filming a thing at his job.
Really
and stuff.
cheap.
Yeah.
So you've seen Clerks 2, and you kind of were like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And then I started, sort of coming across other ones like Dogma, Chasing Amy, all the really standard, typical Kevin Smith ones.
Mallrats.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and I mean, I'm not
Tusk,
a fanboy. I'm not. So standard for him.
Tusk.
But I'm not, one of those huge fanboys. I actually don't follow his podcast, even though it covers a wide variety of stuff that I'm actually interested in.
I think he advertises it in the credits.
Yeah.
Good.
Did you read some of the credits?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
But what I do watch every year is his live stream from the IMDb boat at Comic-Con, which I really enjoy.
Okay. He's a great public speaker. Like I will sometimes sit down and just on YouTube watch his videos of him talking about like his relationship with Bruce Willis, or when he was trying to write that Nicolas Cage Superman movie. Or like
that's how you introduced me to him, sort of.
Yeah, or like all this kind of stuff. I like him for that as well as his movies.
Yeah, when you said that we're going to do Kevin Smith month, I watched some of those things you just mentioned. I'm like, I like this guy.
Yeah, he's a fascinating. He seems like what I think appeals to myself and maybe you and most people about Kevin Smith, the individual as well as his films. It feels like like he's one of us, and we could make these movies, but not in that negative way where you're like, I could make this movie. It's that like
Birdemic, I could do better.
Yeah, anyone could, but like that kind of. It's like it feels like you or friend you have. Like Kevin Smith's kind of that kind of guy where it's just like he's so open and kind of just jovial and not afraid to talk smack about his own projects and all that kind of stuff. And
you've compared him to a friend.
Yeah, one of our friends, and it's just like that's kind of what I like about him, and I think it reflects through his movies. Since really, I shouldn't have been surprised by the nature of this movie because of the filmmaker. But at the same time, you know, you get people like your Seth Rogen involved, and you know, even Elizabeth Banks does those type of movies.
Oh, yeah.
So
a lot of the trivia was mentioning that like this is a Kevin Smith film that has a lot of like Judd Apatow people attached to it or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Judd Apatow. Yeah, so it took me a real while to get into this, but that's the thing, man. Like, Kevin Smith is one of those filmmakers who actually makes movies.
He's a natural-born hustler as well, because
he hustles good.
Yeah, because he had no backing for anything, and that's the whole thing for Clerks, isn't it? That he had nothing. No one was backing him. He just did it because he's a hustler, and he's
a hustler. Yeah, he's a player,
and he knew what he wanted to do, and he has so much passion that he puts into his projects, and he puts into what he wants to do. That through some strange, forceful effort, he's edged his way into the film industry, where otherwise he shouldn't have.
And he makes movies that are your normal mainstream things. Like Jersey Girl is probably his most normal mainstream thing, and maybe. But then I was gonna say but this is still really far out there. Like the nature of what this movie is all about, with the pornography aspect of it, is just so out. I
love this guy, by the way.
Craig Robinson.
Yeah.
Let's talk about old Craig. Bartek, are you familiar with Craigie?
The things that I'm most familiar with regarding him are Hot Tub Time Machine and when he plays himself in This Is the End.
Not in the American The Office?
No, I've only seen some episodes. I don't remember.
Because he's the guy who works down in the shipping department.
I think I've only seen episodes of The Office when I'm on like flights or something.
All right, so I have a really weird relationship with Craig Robinson. We're married, and I took his last name. No,
Ryan Robinson.
Are you saying my relationship with my wife is weird?
You said it was. You had to go through this hoopla to get your name done.
No, just changing my name was weird, not our relationship. But I get what you're saying.
No. Well, I don't know your wife. It could be weird. I mean, she could be a goat or something. I don't know.
The government intervention.
Here's my wife, guys.
Dude, I made it up. I'm not even wearing a ring, so I'm actually just single and I'm crazy.
You said you forgot, but your fingers like crossed.
For some reason, Tom Savini's in this movie.
Yeah, there he is.
Tom Savini, the legendary Tom Savini. Bartek?
I've heard the name.
Another one scene
wonder. Tom Savini. He does all those practical makeup effects for those zombie movies and like the George Romero ones, and he's great. And he's in Dawn of the Dead.
Did he do the poo in this film?
He might have. But Craig Robinson I have a weird relationship with. I have seen him in those Hot Tub Time Machine movies, The Office, one or two other things, and I have never found him funny.
Oh, really?
But I don't hate him. When you say, I find that person unfunny. I'm not saying I don't find him unfunny. Like, I just don't find him funny. I just go, I see what you did there. And the only role I kind of get amused by is his role in a TV show that I don't even like that much, which is Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Great character.
Where he basically plays a chaotic trickster type guy who's just a complete nut job.
Yeah.
And over the top. Like, there's a whole episode where it's him and our main character stuck on a cruise ship, and he's like a wanted criminal and is actively showing himself in public places on this cruise ship and then getting away.
So can I just keep a tally? You've got a weird relationship with Craig Robinson and Tom Savini so far, yes?
Oh, and no, I don't have a weird relationship with Tom Savini. I just wanted to point it out. Okay, my weird relationship is I recognized him in this movie, and you probably didn't, because you're like, who's Tom Savini? I've heard the name, but I don't know the man. He's a cool guy. Tom Savini, I mean, he did a lot of those cool film prosthetic stuff and makeup tricks and whatever. Like, he did the Day of the Dead stuff, I'm pretty sure. And
I'm sure his influence
he's
is
in
felt.
From Dusk Till Dawn. He's in that. Have you seen From Dusk Till Dawn?
A plus movie,
He's Sex Machine, where he has like a codpiece that shoots out like a little minigun. It's great, because Robert Rodriguez, man.
Yeah.
So, Bartek, who was your favorite person who auditioned? Yeah, man, it's hard.
I love when movies and TV shows get either kids or really old people to say stuff that's terribly inappropriate.
The old people think.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Kids are pretty. You know what? The kids say the darndest things.
Yes.
I do like the pegged guy though. He's pretty.
You
funny.
do like him? Yeah, he's pretty good. But I don't know. It was one of those ones where I wanted that scene to go on more. What I'm saying is...
It's no Annie.
No, I was going to say it's no Major Payne, where Major Payne had to do in the Major Band when he had to do the audition, I guess, to be a policeman.
Oh yes, the improvisation.
And he slaps a guy and he's like, never ever hit her again. I wanted more wackiness, but the movie is also one of these movies.
Do you want some physical stuff as well, not just lines?
Yeah, physical wacky stuff. Here's some physical stuff. Look at Craig Robinson's face. He's physically acting there. He's like, oh boy.
Yeah, that's actually probably one of the very few times you see him actually trying to act. I think that's what I like about him. He seems undirectable.
Yeah, he seems like he is just not being directed. He seems like one of those actors who's like, you see that with a lot of actors that are old, and they're like, they've had like a career 50 years, and now they're on the booze, and they're just like, whatever, I'm gonna sit down in this scene. Like, there's this one actor who, I can't remember his name, but he used to be this old cowboy actor, and in his later part of his career, he would go in these home like, direct-to-video movies, and he's, like, infamous, and he's just, like, there's a whole movie where you see he's in this, like, lounge chair, and they have to put the lounge chair in physical areas where there would not be one because he would not get up.
Did we say that when we were doing Big Sam, were we saying something like that about David Carradine?
Oh, David Carradine was just a fucking alcoholic bum, and he would just kind of turn up. Yeah, when we did Big Stan.
Yeah.
Yeah. David Carradine was just a bum, basically, and he would just kind of walk around from place to place.
Wait, is David Carradine the father or the son?
He's in what?
Just... Because his dad was also a famous actor.
I think this... I'm not going to tell you. He's the one in Kill Bill.
Whichever one's the son, yeah.
So Jason Mewes is here, and I did not recognize him, because in most movies he plays Jay, and Jay and Silent Bob, and he has long hair. Long blonde hair. And in this he does not. And I'm just like, oh. And it took me a while, and then I figured it out. I'm like, ha ha ha! It's Jason Mewes all along.
Not a big stretch from his character as Jay, but... Still funny.
Except for we get to see his dick a bit more.
Yeah.
Is that a big tick for you, seeing male dick?
I don't know. I feel
like female dick.
You know what?
Dick representation.
I actually do think it is a big tick, because I feel like women don't get enough, enough male nudity on camera, and we're spoiled for it, to be honest. Like, we get tons of it.
Yeah, I agree. We are spoiled. I mean,
are we talking about our own or something?
No, I mean when we get nudity directed towards us.
Yeah, we get tons of nudity directed towards a male audience.
Right.
Or, not really much the other way around. So whenever I see it, I just like, yes, there's one.
Excuse me, women have those 50 Shades of Grey movies.
Yeah, that's that's true.
And that's all you get, ladies.
And Observe and Report.
Oh, and Observe and Report.
And if you don't like being abused, then that's just too bad for you.
If you don't like toxic masculinity, then too bad, because you're not getting anything else. Maybe Twilight, but you don't get any nudity in that. So her name in the character who just blew a bubble from her vagina is also called Bubbles. Not the monkey.
I was about to say.
That MJ owned.
Yep.
Michael Jackson, not Mary Jane Watson.
Or Michael Jordan.
Or Michael Jordan. I went with
Magic
Johnson.
Johnson.
You both went with like basketball players. I went with a fictional character of Mary Jane Watson.
I said at the same time as you, if you were listening. But yeah.
I was too busy listening to myself.
No, that's fine.
So, this movie has a lot of moving parts, and one of them is that they actually have porn actresses in it, and Traci Lords, who is Bubbles, is infamous. So I'll inform you. Traci Lords is a well-known actress because she did a lot of movies with John Waters.
Okay.
Right.
And John Waters, if you don't know, he has the title of the Pope of Trash.
Right.
He did stuff like Pink Flamingos and all the stuff where Pink Flamingos has like a drag queen literally eating dog shit.
And the character Ursula from Little Mermaid's based on that actress, right?
Yeah, on Divine.
Divine, yeah.
The drag queen. And then like he would do stuff like Cry Baby, and that kind of launched Johnny Depp's film career because he was stuck in TV being 21 Jump Street.
Yep.
But John Waters is like a crazy man.
And,
with that pen. Oh, you might know John Waters from. He was on The Simpsons.
Yeah. Okay.
He played the gay guy who owned the toy store, and Homer was
Zap. Yeah.
Zap.
Yeah.
That's just John Waters, basically.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
He was also in Chipmunks. One of the movies where he's on the plane and he's like looking at one of the Alvin, and he's like, I was sitting next to the Chipettes and they were much nicer than you. And he's like, quiet, John. I've seen your film Pink Flamingos, which is the weirdest thing to have in a movie for children. That
Bizarre.
Alvin the Chipmunk has seen
Alvin
Pink...
and the Chipmunks a reference to Pink Flamingos.
In his short life.
Yeah. That is a real scene, and we will look it up after.
Fantastic.
And Alvin's saying, I've seen Pink Flamingos, John. And John is like, ew. But John Waters cast Traci Lords in a bunch of his stuff, or one or two of his things. And Traci Lords is an infamous porn actress because she was very popular, but no one knew, including the people making porn, that she was in fact very much underaged. Ooh. And then when she was making Crybaby, the movie with John Waters, she got arrested due to the fact that she was actively participating in pornography that she was not supposed to be in and other incidences. And she then became kind of just this notorious figure, like Traci Lords, that porn actress that was underage that got away with it, but she looked much older, and ooh, it's so dirty, and can you find a Traci Lords movie? It's like, ooh, one of her porn films, ooh. Right. And then she just continued doing porn and doing acting, and she just became this notorious kind of figure, and all these people were like, yeah, that's empowerment, and like all this crazy stuff, and she's just like...
It's that adage that, any publicity is good publicity, right?
It's just punk attitude. It's just she's just crazy. Like, oh, she's awesome.
Do you want to hear what Roger Ebert thought of this film?
Did he go, I saw Traci Lords in one of her pornography movies, and now I'm arrested. Take me away, boys. And he's like, and you hear in his review that's written, handcuff clinks on his wrist, and then he's being dragged away. And then the review is from Traci Lords now, like, I quite like the film. I give it a 2 thumbs up. No, what did the infamous film critic Roger Ebert have to say? Because he quite liked Jersey Girl.
Yes, he gave that, I think, 3.5 out of 4.
Which is pretty high.
Out of 4 stars, he gave this one 3.
Okay.
Oh, he actually liked it.
He really, really liked it. I think he has a soft spot for Kevin Smith.
I have a soft spot.
He's one of them.
He tried to make his review very comedic.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Was it actually funny?
It was weird coming from him because I think of him more as like a tangential kind of like you're getting off topic kind of guy, but like, when he mentioned that like, oh, there's a lot of swearing, he'd replace swear words with bleep, and then in a bunch of his reviews, a bunch of his paragraphs, he'd like just write bleep instead of swear words.
Right.
I think he improvises something at some point in his review, and it's just really weird.
Okay.
I wish I could remember what it was.
For a bit of context, we love hearing from infamous film critic Roger Ebert because he hates most movies.
Right.
Like he said, no one will ever think about Full Metal Jacket because Platoon exists.
Right. Bold claim.
Bold claim.
And also, this is unappreciated masterpiece.
He also can be right sometimes, where he was just like, I think Gladiator is a terrible movie and it will never win an Oscar, but then it won an Oscar. But he was right about Gladiator. It sucks. I'm sorry, people listening at home. I think Gladiator sucks. It's boring, but it does have Russell Crowe, so... Tick, but
there's like a similar guy in the video games industry named Yahtzee.
Yahtzee. We like Yahtzee, but he
just hates everything. But at the same time, it's a really good way to find out the shortcomings of a game.
Yeah.
But
he
does them
for purely comedic. Roger Ebert was a respected film critic that said Zoolander was inappropriate due to the fact 9/11 happened 2 weeks before its film release. Like Zoolander was aware years in production of its existence that was going to happen.
This is not the time for a film like this.
Yeah, and it's like, but I love Roger Ebert once gave a movie, Race to Witch Mountain, a high review because he met Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson one time, and Dwayne then...
I actually read the review out of that.
Dwayne then delivered to his home some homemade bakery goods, then he's like, I quite like Dwayne Johnson. He is a nice man. It's like, of course he is.
In the review itself, he writes like, he once gave me these like butter muffins or something.
He does seem like a nice guy.
That's why Dwayne Johnson's movies are box office successes. We all get delivered homemade goods from him, and we're like. Well, I wasn't thinking of seeing Rampage, but I guess I have to now.
But it's not like
Dwayne.
But it wasn't.
Sure, he's got a white monkey.
I mean, he did give me a cookie in the shape of that monkey, and even frosted it a little.
And the key point is that it wasn't a bribe. He just did it at some point.
Oh yeah, he's just a nice guy, Dwayne. Oh boy, we all remember him as Scorpion King, right?
Yeah. It's always funny when Roger Ebert just gets something wrong too.
Yeah. So they started production of Star Wars.
Yes.
Star Wars.
Honestly, before they came up with the title, I was actually thinking, have they said Star Wars yet? And then they did.
Did we Google that? Is this actually a movie, Star Wars?
Look,
Surely someone jumped in and stole it.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
You can look it up all you want. It's not as good as the SpongeBob porn parody, where it's like SpongeBob Square Nuts or something, and they do it. It's live action, and they do it with prosthetics.
All right, yeah. Cinema Snubs reviewed from that company Wood Rocket, I think it's called. I mean, that was in it, yeah.
Do you know how Tom Kenny got inspired to do the voice of SpongeBob?
No, I have no idea.
Oh, that's a great story.
What is it again? He was like waiting in line.
He was auditioning for something around the Christmas time, and he was sitting next to some dwarf actors.
Right.
And one of the dwarf actors had a very foul mouth and was complaining, I only get work in the fucking holidays or something like that.
Right.
So he was inspired by a dwarf swearing a lot about how he doesn't get work except around Christmas time.
And it was the voice, and that's the voice he used.
Yes.
You can draw inspiration from wherever, that's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes sense to me.
It makes sense. And these people in this movie were like, well, if we have to make a mock porn thing, we got to do the biggest property. And this is even before Star Wars came back again.
Yeah.
This was when Star Wars is in the death throes with the prequels and stuff, killing its existence.
Well, a few years after, because they reference...
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like...
They reference all of them except the Attack of the Clones.
This is in the period of time where Star Wars was dead, basically. Like, it had been brutally murdered by George Lucas himself. And then George Lucas was waiting.
By the hand of their creator.
And George Lucas was like, oh, I've got this property that is creatively bankrupt and you can barely do anything with it. I can't wait for Disney to buy it and then just make subpar movies. I'm going to laugh all the way to the bank.
Yeah.
That's how I think about George Lucas.
Meanwhile, I still go to every premiere.
Yeah, of course. Because
Star Wars,
Because that's what culture is enforced upon
us.
Yeah. I've got to go to find out how Ryan Johnson fucked this one up, or something. Or I've got to find out how Solo got his name. Who are your people?
That's such a really depressing scene, to be honest.
Who are your people? I don't have no people. Solo, then. That's actually a scene, Bartek.
You've told me many times.
Take the dialogue out of that movie, and it's a good movie.
I mean, also
think about
make better, and then do better cinematography, so you can actually see the images on screen, and then it's also a good movie. Also, redo the movie, and then it's a great movie.
Just redo it. Great. Yeah.
Actually,
except for the opening scene, I really like the opening scene.
Let us see the Lord and Miller cut of that movie that they made, and then maybe it's definitely going to be a better movie.
Have you seen those cuts of the first three movies where someone's gone through, recut them to make them more adult, and then taken the Gungan dialogue and put like an alien dialect over it with subtitles? It's a drastic improvement.
I do love those the fan edits where they edit out all of Jar Jar Binks and how the films all flow so much better without him.
Yeah.
It's like you do remove him and the films are increasingly better. Like they're just so much better. My favorite thing about the Star Wars prequels is the fact that everyone agrees unanimously that Revenge of the Sith is the best one, but then I am the contrarian that's like, it is the best one out of those three, but it's also a so bad it's good movie, and that's why it's good.
Yeah.
Like, I always quote my favorite line out of all of Star Wars. I always quote this, which is, give up, Anakin. I have the high ground. And it's like, does he mean the literal or like the moral? Like, because I don't know what he means.
You're waking up in a cold sweat.
I've seen a version
only a Sith deals in absolutes. That's an absolute, you fucking idiot. Yeah. You're a Sith.
I've seen a version of the Phantom Menace which is just Anakin's dialogue.
Are you an angel?
Wowee.
That was one of the lines.
Yeah. The thing I love about the prequels is how much people who don't like them have watched them over and over again just to,
rip on them?
Really coin their decision to not like them. It's
well,
kind of ironic in a way.
I think it's because for people like me, I love Star Trek, so I do not like those new Star Trek movies, but I've seen them a bunch of times to really cement why I don't like them.
Man,
and be like,
I love them.
Well, that's because they're terrible, and you love terrible things, I guess. But look, I love how dismissive that is.
That's just go in, ow. Yeah.
Oh, you suck. No, especially, I didn't mind Star Trek Beyond, because that felt like Star Trek. But, like, I watched them a bunch because I love Star Trek, and I think that's what people did, and it's because it's like that whiplash of, no, I can't believe it's not good. No, it can't be this. I mean, for the real Star Trek fans, we're used to things being terrible a lot, because it's like, the rule is every odd-numbered movie's bad. But, look, let's get into Zack and Miri Make Porno. If you had to make a porno, Bartek, and it's based on an existing property,
okay,
what would your porno spoof be? Same with you, Liam.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's hard one. It's a hard one.
Oh no, I've got one.
Oh, he's ready.
Yeah,
Hit me.
Oh,
baby.
I think like there's a large opening in the market out there for pornos to be made off the back of anime. So I would.
I think they're called hentais, buddy.
Yeah.
Have you heard of the
they're not live
doujinshi
action
industry?
They're not live action though, right? There's not enough live action.
Oh, he wants
stuff out
live
there.
action ones.
Yeah.
Right,
So
right.
live action adaptations of anime, popular anime, and make that into a porno.
So you got any in particular you want to see? I
Yeah,
know you're.
let's go.
Sweet Home.
That's great. I don't know what that is, but I'm laughing along.
Let's do
It's a family-friendly show about a little kitten.
I feel like an easy one that would be is a popular one as well is Attack on Titan. You could do that. When they turn into Titans, they're organically naked.
Yeah. I thought Dragon Ball Z classic.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you know, and it's like
they blast their clothes off.
But for like 30-minute episodes, it takes him to orgasm.
Yeah. Well, here's an age-old question: when he goes Super Saiyan, do his pube hairs also do the same thing?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely,
right?
Definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
so I want to see that.
And they also go blonde.
His penis is on fire.
Oh
And if
yeah,
they-
yeah.
if,
And he
you know-
shoots a beam, and then his brother, and then Vegeta's in the corner laughing.
And one of the lines obviously is "Come a hame."
Good.
And then
Kamehameha. Good.
Piccolo.
Piccolo's the bad guy. Yes.
Vagina.
And then what would Lord Frieza be? He's Lord, I think. Lord Frieza. I can't remember. He would.
I mean, you can just call him Frieza, I guess.
He doesn't change. He's still like a legitimate movie bad guy in this porn movie.
Yeah,
He's just like, hello, it is me, Frieza.
Goku can be.
He's like Uma Thurman in Percy Jackson. He's actually acting, and everyone else.
No one ever mentions Percy Jackson, but here we go.
By the way, this is my favorite scene.
Is it when they are showing us their pornography that they're making?
Well, when they're making it, yeah.
Yeah, when they're showing us the pornography they're making, yeah. Like,
This is where I decided that he's my favorite. Yeah.
oh, Jason.
The line where he steps forward.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love that every time someone's going to have sex in their movie, they literally proclaim "Let's fuck." It's my favorite.
It's also very disconcerting how much he does look like Hayden Christensen in this as well,
bit, actually,
and
now that you're
Justin
saying it.
Timberlake. Yeah, I also gotta agree. He is one of my favorite characters in this. I like her actually
Let
a
us
lot as well
fuck.
because "Let us fuck" the final line of the movie.
Yep.
Who knew it would be such a poignant line? I actually quite like the woman he's currently having intercourse with and how she's got this dog all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just there around, and I want to know if that's her real life dog, like, because she's a real life porn actress. So I just want to know, man, like.
Do you find there's a weird innocence to her character?
She is incredibly innocent.
Yeah.
Well, it's telling us that, pornographical people can be wholesome.
Pornographical people?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not the word I would have used. I love how, look at that
What
little
word
dog.
would you have used?
Pornography people.
I guess you can use that as an adjective.
People in the field. But
So that dog's dead, right?
probably
It's
very
been like
small.
11 years.
Yeah. It's a small
And
dog.
it looks old.
Yeah, those dogs don't last a long time in general.
So you didn't do your research this time, Ryan.
Well, no, you got me there. I do love the line in this where you hear her quietly say, "The beans are hurting me." Yeah, you really do hear that.
Okay.
It's one of my
That's a
favorite.
nice little touch.
There's another little.
Oh,
The beans hurt.
Easy.
Another favorite joke of mine that I can't remember when it is in the movie, but he's using the clapboard, and he uses to smack on the board. He uses a coffee grinder.
Yeah.
So I thought that was just a little joke. I can't remember when it is in the movie, but it's one that I didn't know. I just randomly noticed, like, real quick. It was like, "Ooh, it's gone," and they're like, "Oh, there it is."
Yeah.
I like the kissing muscle thing as well.
Well,
I think my
that is porn.
I think my favorite scene is coming up now.
Coming up.
Yeah.
Oh, the guy that comes in?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you mean the guy from Tucker and Dale versus
Yeah,
Evil?
yeah.
I love that guy. He's always in shit.
Oh,
Like, I
man.
loved him in Reaper, that TV show
Right.
where the guy's parents sold his soul to the devil, and he was like his dumbass friend, and the devil was Ray Wise, who I just love in everything, like RoboCop. Yeah, this is actually one of the best comedic scenes in the movie.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest, I'm 100% honest with you. This movie, and I don't think this is a negative critique, didn't make me laugh out loud that much. It kind of made me have a pleasant smile on my face and go, I think that's more what this movie's kind of.
I was pleasant
to do.
smile the whole way through, but this scene, the "let us fuck" line, really.
Oh, that. But I'm talking about him just doing this and how oblivious he is. But I also love.
The look on her face is so good.
But I also love the punchline that is the end of the scene of when they start fucking again. Jason Mewes uses the lines that he just said to them. Like he starts doing the hug it, chug it, football all night. Like that's what if you pay attention, that's what he starts doing.
Yeah,
and I just love it. And it's a one scene wonder. This movie does have a lot of one scene wonders in this. This guy's a great actor. I mean, he was recently in the new Dirk Gently holistic detective show. He was in the second season. He was actually really good. He's also in some terrible movie at the moment called Escape Room, but everyone who's watched it said, I like him in it. And he's just one of those, he's one of those guys. Jason Mewes is like chewing up the scenery. Fuck,
you're right.
Football.
Oh, man.
What classy. So, Bartek, have you thought of a property that you want to do porn spoof of?
No, I was watching my favourite scene in the film.
I'm soz.
Is it this one? I mean, it's chill if it is.
This is the one
it's
right after.
Chill if it is. I would really love porn parody versions of those. And I know this is going to sound really gross, but I
this
really...
is a safe space.
It's a safe space. You know those dog movies like A Dog's Way Home or like Dog's Return?
All Dogs Go to Heaven?
All Dogs Go to... Yeah, like, there was that movie last year where the film got in trouble because it looked like they were drowning the dog. There was like those... A Dog's Purpose. I want those, but as porn movies, but you still have them as actual animals, but you have them dubbed over with human dialogue still. But the movies, each one, still follows the themes and story beats of those movies. So it's like a dog gets lost and has to go all the way home so it can fuck, but it fucks things along the way.
Yeah.
I would want.
Are we talking like a physical actual dog?
Yeah, but
and we're putting the voice over the head.
The
sort
voice
of like
over
talking.
Yeah. So the dog, and you CG its mouth. So
it like those really bad, like sort of like early 2000s movies.
Yeah.
Where you put peanut butter in the dog's mouth.
What they call the buddy movies, the
Air Bud. Yeah. Yep.
So you have one where it's like, buddy, you gotta shoot that hoop, and it's like doing it, but it's like fucking, and then it throws the ball, and then the ball goes through the hoop, and it's like ejaculating. This is what I want.
Right.
I know.
So the basic idea of like you're still
it's
following
bestiality, but between actual animals,
and you're still like following the emotional beats
thematic
of the actual
story.
film.
Like they learn through the journey that in fact what they had at home was what they wanted all along.
Right.
A good fuck.
I think I mentioned
just go at it.
I think I mentioned him earlier when I was talking about the Wood Rocket thing. Cinema Snob did a review of a Sex and the City porn film, and he said that it was better and more true to the source material than the actual two films.
Yeah. So we had a sweet moment where Elizabeth Banks had fallen asleep on a bag of coffee beans.
Yeah.
And he put a jacket on and it's like, oh, see, they're in love.
You say sweet, I think it's a bit more bitter. Coffee beans.
Ha ha.
I like what I find sweet about this movie is how the people that they've gathered for it, the cast and crew themselves, and they clearly are rooting for these two people that they've now, obviously just, come to learn and love very immediately. And, right down to this scene here, she's very nice to Elizabeth Banks. She's like,
But then when he comes in, she's immediately like, I am gone now. Goodbye.
I must go. My planet needs me.
We never saw Poochie again. Is Traci Lords the Poochie of this movie? I don't know. Question. Beardless Seth Rogen or bearded Seth Rogen?
Oh my god, he looks so bad.
What, with no beard?
With no beard.
With no beard and that hair, he looks kind of funny.
Yeah. Oh god,
yeah.
so
bad. So you want him bearded?
Yes, I want him bearded.
Do you like him big and beardy?
I like him big and beardy. I think if you can grow a beard and it's a pretty decent one, then you probably should.
Is that true, Bartek? Can you attest to this? As someone with a beard?
Sure, why not?
Sure, why not?
I have a level of discomfort at a point because mine's scraggly and ugly. But if I had the capacity to grow a thick beard, then I absolutely would.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I do not like beards. I'm just like, I just forget to shave, and then I'm like, oh god, no.
Oh, whoops, I look like a bum. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I think
you want
better
yours
with a beard.
as a bearded Rogan too?
I can go either way.
He swings both ways. I mean, in this movie it doesn't work, but say in Green Hornet, he looks great without a beard.
Absolutely.
He actually looks very dashing. He has a good jawline when he loses weight.
Yeah, and I was going to say that it's because he's lost a bit.
How was he in The Guilt Trip? Did he have a beard?
No, I don't think so. I think he had more sideburns. And then when he was in Observer Report, he was clean shaved, but he also had a buzz cut. So he looked really weird in that movie. But
he's got the weight in this movie, though. Like
he's a big boy.
Yeah.
He's a biggie boy.
Yeah.
I like him with the beard too, if I'm honest. Yeah. I like my beardy Seth. I mean, it just adds to his voice. I got a beard. You know when you can hear a person has a beard? Like Bartek. You can hear his beard.
Can you? All right.
Yeah. I'm just telling you. You sometimes don't you ever get that when you're listening to like something and you can just like you're like, I think this person has a beard.
That'd be a fun game, is like to play someone's voice, and then you have to like determine what you think they look like from that.
Sounds like you got a new segment for your show.
Yeah, I'll try it.
Sounds like beard.
I'll put it to the tooling.
Beard or no beard, and then you play Taylor Swift in there randomly, and they're like, beard, and you're like, ding, 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 you got it, Kanye.
You have someone on that is literally named "I'm the Bearded Lady."
Oh yes, we can listen to the soundtrack to The Great Showman, the Greatest Showman.
Ryan?
There we go. It was earlier. Yeah. It was earlier, but
that's really prominent.
Continuity.
It's called. Dog has an outfit now.
So this is the cringe scene.
Yeah,
sorry, the milkman always comes twice is a nice movie reference.
Oh man. Just the like. This is fine right now, and it's still funny when she like does her lines and she's doing like the.
It's when they're whispering to each other out of character, right?
Yeah, it's when they're doing like the rumba, like when they're like
dancing.
Yeah, and it's just that's a lot.
Not him doing that.
That's not awkward yet. That's still kind of funny.
What about when it spills all over him?
That's still funny. And like what she's doing is still funny.
Oh yeah.
It's when they start undressing that it starts to really get to me.
Do you find it amazing that Elizabeth Banks is 10 years older than Seth Rogen?
That's remarkable. I didn't know that.
She is.
Yeah.
She is 10 years older. Let's not forget, she was also in The 40-Year-Old Virgin. Mm-hmm. She was the crazy lady that worked at the bookshop who masturbates herself off with her faucet, and then Seth Rogen sleeps with her, and then they get together in the end. Isn't that cute?
Yeah.
Can't remember. Have you seen 40-Year-Old Virgin?
I'm pretending I have.
Oh, you haven't?
I'm pretending I have, so I have.
Yeah. You're doing really well.
It's all right. I remember it being pretty good. It's been a while since.
That's what I remember too.
I remember my biggest story about that is I remember seeing the posters for 40-Year-Old Virgin, and I didn't know who Steve Carell was really yet, and I just went, why is Australian comedian Colin Lane in this new 40-Year-Old Virgin? Because he looks exactly like Colin Lane. From Lano and Woodley, and it's
said
just,
that a few times.
and he's sitting in that awkward way that Colin Lane does and stuff, and I'm like, why is he in this? And then I looked and went, is it his brother? Who is this Steve Carell? Different to his cousin Will Ferrell. No,
Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell.
Confirmed fact. Yeah.
There is a movie where Will Ferrell is in like some movie where he speaks only in Spanish, and that's like kind of the joke. And the best joke in the whole entire movie is the trailer itself, where it's like, and introducing new Spanish sensation, Will Ferrell, and that's the best joke in the whole thing.
Tough.
The joke being that he was already big at that time.
No, the joke of the guy doing the telenovela reading voice pronounces it Farah.
Oh,
that's the funny part for me. Yeah, so is this getting too awkward for you, Liam?
No, that's fine, because I'm with people.
Do you not like
I'm going to fuck you with my penis.
Fucking cream's coming.
Do you not like dancing in your underwear?
I mean, personally, yeah, but I wouldn't subject anyone else to that outside of,
No, Bartek, Jason Mewes' character is into everything in this movie,
yeah.
Admittedly. We all learned something from this movie. We all learned what a Dutch rudder is.
Yeah.
And it's actually pretty cool.
Double Dutch rudder too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it actually is like, this would be a thing, I reckon.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was still in high school, I'd be trying it.
For the no homo crowd.
For the no homo crowd. Yeah, that's right. It's no homo. So yeah, I thought this bit in the movie was very interesting, but I did think it was going to play a bigger part. Like I thought they were going to be like in terms of in the film they're making. I thought it's like only Craig Robinson has a problem with this moment.
Right. Yeah.
Like when they actually rewatch the film, only Craig Robinson has a problem with it in the context of the pornography that they're making.
Yeah. I kind of thought that they were being a bit diplomatic with him because they were acting a little bit funny while recording, and it sometimes cuts to them. But definitely Craig Robinson's just the blunt one.
Yeah, but I think they were all like, "Oh, this is so sweet," and Craig Robinson's like, "I want to see her titties."
Yeah.
There's no such thing as free titties, is there? That's actually, I'll give him. He was Craig Robinson is really funny to me in this movie when he says stuff like that, but mostly he shines for me at the very end during the end credits where he's showing us what was his production company called? It was like
Zack and Miri make your porno?
No, but his production company when he tried to make DreamWorks, but it was already
wasn't it like Rich Nigger Productions? Or
yeah, Rich Nigger Productions, and it's so good. But I love when he originally wanted it to be called DreamWorks. He's like, but that one's taken. And it's like, yeah, surprisingly, he goes, but doesn't it sound like a gay porn production company? And then Seth Rogen's like, DreamWorks. Yeah, it does. It really does sound like that.
Like a club where you'd pick up a guy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like Wet Dreams and stuff.
Yeah. Wet Dreams. Hey, Bartek, I need to hear your porn parody spoof genre. I know
genre, not film?
or theme.
I thought I was pretty accurate with Cheese Sweet Home, but all right. I actually haven't seen it, so yeah.
That was a weird one.
You sent me a GIF from it once when my cat died.
Of which one?
Of Cheese Sweet Home.
Oh, I did? Good.
Yeah. Oh, you know what you could do? An Inception one.
Oh, yeah, where it's porno inside a porno?
No, like you go inside and you convince them to do the deeds that you would like them to do, and that is the porno.
Oh, and it's still directed by Christopher Nolan?
Yes.
And then they fall asleep after the deeds, and then they have a wet dream.
You know, can you imagine? No, can you imagine? No, I'm not.
Meta.
I can't remember. Is there any sex scenes in any Christopher Nolan movie?
I can't remember. Sorry.
Because I think it would be the most lifeless, emotionless, cold scene that you'd ever see. Because that's just Nolan in general. Can you imagine, like, in Dark Knight, if, like...
Dunkirk.
In Dunkirk, yeah. Now, I was going to say that in, like, Dark Knight, if he got with Maggie Gyllenhaal's character, Rachel, it would just be, like, two meat sacks bumping into each other. But it would be shot with, like, a big lens. And like, and the music would be, like...
Some people
when she comes,
she
does the O face, and you hear that,
and it pans out from the mansion at that point as well, like and then pulls away.
But then if it was directed, but if you had someone who wanted to do a porn parody of that, and they do it a comedy one. They do it the exact same way, but then it's a hard comedy cut to Alfred dusting as she's orgasming and him going, oh, bother. But it's Michael Caine's Alfred, so he'll be like, oh, she orgasmed in the size of a tangerine.
Tangerine.
I'll have to remember to clean the sheets.
If it was Jeremy Irons one, it would be him, like, pushing her out of the room and being like, Master Wayne, how dare you? I've been in David Cronenberg movies. I can tell you about pornographic. So, the thing about this movie, with a lot of romance movies, especially romantic comedies, which this does fall under, it always relies on the chemistry of the actors and the chemistry of the characters themselves. And I think this movie does a really decent job.
Exceptionally good, yeah.
It is.
It's like the whole thing I was sort of mentioning earlier when I said pornographical people.
Yeah.
You know, it's an industry that's for adults, but it's showing a wholesome side to the people behind it. They're not just like sex-crazy perverts. They are making stuff and they are people.
These scenes here are really cool where they like are realizing that they're both, starting to fall in love with each other, but neither one of them is willing to put their heart on their sleeve and just go out there and say it. And it's so painful, but like something that makes you root for each of the characters.
Yeah.
One of the things that I was really impressed by is because we even kind of alluded to it when we were doing the Seth Rogen thing.
Yeah.
His voice, the fact that he says things is a lot of his comedy, a lot of what is acting.
Yeah.
But we have a scene coming up where he like doesn't speak for 2 minutes, but you see him like make facial expressions. And I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
But I also want to remind you that the man that's in Zack and Miri Make a Porno, the man who sounds like is going to be Pumbaa. Just want to remind you about that. He's in the Lion King remake as Pumbaa. Just absorb
and
that.
I'll see anything before I judge it.
I'm judging it already.
I'll see. I'll wait and see.
Look, here's my biggest problem. You do a new Lion King movie.
Yeah.
You still get James Earl Jones, fine. But why don't you get Nathan Lane again as Timon?
Yeah, he's available.
He's very much in the atmosphere. Why not get him? Everyone loves Nathan Lane. He's in Modern Family. People love him in that. It's not he's kind of one of those ones who's kind of like this generation of people don't know who he is, like maybe a Rowan Atkinson, say, where like when he did the first Lion King, that was like at the peak of Rowan Atkinson.
And he hasn't sexually assaulted anyone recently, so
recently,
that we know of. He's still available for the role.
Now, I would like it if all of those new Disney remake movies cast people from this movie.
Zack and Miri.
Yeah, I would really love to see Jason Mewes be in Hunchback of Notre Dame as the Hunchback.
That's a tough movie.
I would watch that. No. Realistically, Jason Mewes would be the Jason Alexander gargoyle.
Yeah.
And and in this movie, Seth Rogen in that version of the Hunchback of Notre Dame, he would be the Kevin Kline character, the one that
tall guy.
No. The handsome crusader guy who comes in and actually gets with Esmeralda.
Oh, right.
Whose horse's name's Achilles, so he can go, Achilles, heel.
His name escaped. Oh,
Feebles, something.
Yeah.
Listening people, you tell me. It is my favorite Disney animated movie. I should know, but I don't.
It's a nice old name.
I also would really love it if they cast Tom Savini as Frollo. I know he's a one-scene wonder in this movie, but I'd love to see Tom Savini give himself old man prosthetics.
To be fair, Tony J is long dead.
Is that the one who did the voice?
Yes.
How long dead has he been?
Like 90s, 2000s?
Oh, man, he was great.
He had a really good voice, yeah.
He was the best part. Everyone loves that movie for Frollo, right? Because it's about a man who has a boner so hard that he wants to burn down all of Paris.
One of the Kingdom Hearts games that was released on 3DS had a Hunchback of Notre Dame world. I can't remember who they got to play Frollo there.
3/256.
No. It was Dream Drop Distance.
Normal name, by the way.
Was it Brian George doing it? Because
no.
It seems like Brian George does every fucking Kingdom Hearts.
He does Barbossa.
Game. Of course. I've never played a Kingdom Hearts game, and I'm not going to start now.
In case you don't know, Brian George played, what's his name?
Captain Barbossa.
No, in Seinfeld. Babu.
Babu. No,
okay.
Yeah.
So Babu Bhatt replaces...
Babu! Yeah.
Babu! You're a very bad man, Mr. Jack Sparrow.
For some reason, he does Jeffrey Rush voices.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I'd love it now that Jeffrey Rush has been accused of sexual misconducts, that they digitally edit movies with him out and replace him with Brian George now.
That makes me sad.
Elderly Brian George as him in Shine.
Well, isn't he one of the ones that's been accused that is actually been proven false?
Not necessarily.
Doesn't matter. The damage is done. Yeah. People won't even remember if it gets turned over. All they remember is that he was accused of sexual assault.
This movie's made by the Weinsteins. Everyone's favorite Hollywood couple.
Yep.
I know that Kevin Smith's ashamed of that, right?
Well, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I think he said that he doesn't take any money that he makes from these films anymore and just donates them all.
Yeah, that's what you would do.
Yeah.
Some filmmakers do.
It's like making amends, you know. When you've got so much money, I guess you can do that, you know.
Yeah, definitely if you've already got money.
Yeah.
I remember when this film came out.
This scene is very good, by the way.
It's in slow motion, so it is.
I love that, like, they're both doing a really good job of, like, begging one another to just fucking say something.
It's called eye acting.
Yeah.
You got to act with those eyes. Here's the thing. She blinked in that scene, but she didn't do a full blink. She did like a half blink, like didn't go all the way down. That shows you how emotional her eyes are. So she's making them more watery by not blinking so much.
Then you ask her, it's like, hey, what was that like? And she's like, oh, I was falling asleep. Staying awake.
No, I just don't know how to blink. I am not a human. And then she takes off her face mask and she's in fact a lizard lady.
Now let's go eat some batteries. I mean human food.
Come with me, fleshy meat bag. I want to wear you. So Bartek's favorite scene.
I've already said my favorite scene. This is one of the scenes I remember.
Bartek's favorite scene.
Of the ones I remember, maybe?
Yeah. It's infamous. It's the cake frosting scene, was it called? Like
it's referred to later as frosting, yeah.
He got frosted all over because her shit
I remember the callback being like, don't say shit on around me.
Yeah, that's a little bit later, but you're dead on. Absolutely.
I forgot about Bartek warning me that this movie is got literal shit humor, and when it happened, I was like, oh yeah, but it's edited so quickly that I appreciate that. Like, some other movies would linger on that. Like, did you guys ever see A Million Ways to Die in the West?
Yeah.
Where it's like 20 minutes of Neil Patrick Harris shitting in a hat?
Yeah.
You laugh at that, but it's no Andy Kaufman level of humor.
Yeah.
Unexpected? Not really when you watch it.
No, I'm saying unexpected because I wasn't expecting you to say that. So.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
If you've ever thought to yourself, I want to see Doogie Howser shit into a hat for 20 minutes. Seth MacFarlane answered that question.
I'm a fan of humor that's like kind of funny at first when it's immediate, and then it becomes not funny.
And then it becomes funny again?
And then funny again.
Yeah.
I love the funny again.
You would love your Andy Kaufman humor.
Yeah.
I've always, growing up, I've always kind of been grossed out by shit.
Yeah.
Other than my own, of course. But
yeah.
But so I think maybe when I first saw it, that got to me. But I've kind of got over.
I've never found it that humorous. I've found it like it's just not that good of a crutch for humor.
I do like that they didn't linger on it, and also when he runs outside to Craig Robinson.
Yeah.
How Craig Robinson didn't look at him at any point, so that he could still be oblivious to his
yes,
situation.
Yeah. I liked. A shit joke that I enjoy is in Flying High, or Airplane as it's known as, when it's like the shit is at the fan, and then they have like a desk fan, and then they just throw shit at it.
I've seen, I remember that. I couldn't tell you what it was from, but Flying High, that is it.
That's just the best.
I guess I remember the one from Austin Powers 2.
Oh, that's a classic.
Yeah,
This tastes like shit. It is shit, Austin. But it's not just me, is it?
There's ways you can do it that's good, and those are two very like good examples.
Just with mentioning Austin Powers, another great somewhat shit joke without it actually being shit is in the second one as well, when Mini-Me crawls inside the suit and he launches him into outer space by like it looks like he's doing a shit on the toilet and he's reading the paper.
Yeah. And let's not forget Johnny English.
Oh, everyone loves Johnny English when he had to crawl up the shit pipe. Yeah, classic Johnny. That's
instead of the ladder.
Instead of the ladder. Classic Johnny English material. But here's the emotional scene in which our two romantic leads have to split apart. This always happens in movies. The separation, the low point is installed. He admits his feelings, but he does it in a dickish manner. And she has certain feelings as well, but she's guarded them because she has certain perceptions of who he actually is, because he may have slept with someone that she... women do tests and stuff. And he's all like, I'm not up for tests. And then they split apart and 3 months pass. Craig Robinson looks dashing as usual.
3 months later.
3 months later.
Good SpongeBob reference.
Ernest Borgnine was in SpongeBob.
Who would Seth Rogen play in SpongeBob?
In a live-action version of the movie,
let's say replacement actor.
He would be Patrick, right?
I was thinking so.
Oh, you think so? I was going to say Mr. Krabs.
No, Mr. Krabs would be Eugene Levy.
Seth Rogen's voice is more...
No, but I know that, but Eugene Levy plays those slimy, greedy characters very well.
Oh, I was going to say you just replace the laughs.
Oh yeah, let's never get rid of Clancy Brown. Or have they gotten rid of... Is Clancy Brown still Mr. Krabs, I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure. Is SpongeBob still airing? Didn't it end not too long ago?
I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure he's always been Mr. Krabs.
I love in shows...
Good coffee.
Just... yeah, I love... Every time we cut to them having sex, it's so over the top.
Yeah.
There it was.
Yeah. And you know what?
And it went in his
longer,
mouth.
You're right. Any longer, and it would have just been too much.
Like, they didn't do the bit where he wipes it from his eyes and he has the finger marks or nothing. Like,
I wiped it in my eyes.
Yeah.
Like, they're showing it here, but it's already been kind of done and whatnot. And, like, you know, we don't have, like...
Chick frosted me, right?
Yeah, and then we don't have Craig Robinson being like, whoa, poopy.
Whoa. Yeah, I get what you mean.
Whoa. It's not like a Family Guy joke where it's like they accidentally take something that makes them vomit and they just vomit for 20 minutes. What I'm saying is, Seth MacFarlane, pick up your fucking game, okay? We get what you're into. You're into extended bodily fluids and
musicals
and singing,
and musicals, and you want to be Frank Sinatra, so you literally have Frank Sinatra Jr. hang out with you. I love that. You know, I do love the only. Okay, I'll give Family Guy a break. And Seth MacFarlane, the only long extended gag that I like is every time they like on Family Guy, it's like, and now over to Conway Twitty, and they just like have Conway Twitty, this old country musician, sing a song. And it'll go for the full song, and they keep doing this till eventually it's like, and now to Conway Twitty, and the rest of the episode is a full set of Conway Twitty songs. Like it's like 15 minutes of Conway Twitty.
I don't remember any of this.
It's very much like you'll put up with fucking anything. Like,
and then eventually one time they try to do it again and they get sued by Conway Twitty. Like it becomes a story point. That's like the kind of stuff I'll give slack to. Yeah. Now Bartek, this is the type of job I feel Liam has and he hasn't told us about, which is he gets shot with paintballs. Is that correct, Liam?
I'd love that. I have a really.
You would love that. Hear that?
I have a really boring job though. I just got a desk job, man. Like I don't know.
Where they shoot you with paintballs?
No, I can only hope. Like Community, like everyone just gets in on it. Yeah,
yeah, and then you become the Chevy Chase.
Yeah,
where you have like you've given up, but you're now running like a saloon.
Yeah. And then Sawyer from Lost is there for some inexplicable reason, but still very handsome.
Liam, no need to name drop that you work with a celebrity. Okay, fair enough. I guess we all work with Sawyer from Lost for some reason.
But imagine if I worked with him and I just called him Sawyer from Lost. I never learned his name.
Talking about Lost, they did mention Lost in this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a bit where they mention have you watched Lost? And she actually kind of nearly predicts it. She goes, I think they're all in hell when actually they're all in purgatory.
Right, yeah.
Right.
Spoiler for Lost, but also...
It's been out long enough that you don't have to worry about that, I think.
Also, it's Lost, people. Don't...
Yeah.
I mean...
Don't waste your time.
I know I might get some douche who's going to give us a 1 star for this, but Lost fucking sucks. Don't watch it.
And just to cover our ass,
you know what I heard?
Really good, 5 stars, please.
You know what I heard? I heard Lost was going to kill Jack off in the first.
Jack off, huh?
Jack off.
Yeah.
Masturbating.
In the first, it's a good joke. Dutch rudder. In the first, in the first episode, but it tested really poorly.
Out.
Yeah, and I feel like it would have been really good if they did.
I always think about Lost. I think about Lost sometimes in my distant brain, where I go, in the second episode, they introduced the fact that there was a polar bear on the island, and they never explained it. And I think it's supposed to be explained like purgatory, and I'm like,
begins with a P.
No, I go, so that polar bear lived a semi-existent life and was sent to purgatory when it died. How is it supposed to solve its problems? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean?
It's,
think about that, Bartek. Purgatory.
I just and
animals are there.
Lost is the epitome of making it up as you go in an open wallet.
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah, open wallet, man.
You don't say. Fucking hell. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Look. The crux of Zack and Miri Make a Porno is the general deconstruction of romantic comedy movies, because this is kind of like, this is how you do a romantic comedy movie in this style.
Yeah.
And it's like, you said it in what you think would be one of those gross out comedies, but it's actually like, no, it isn't.
And also overly sexual films.
So this is Bartek's favorite character, right?
I mean, I've already said my favorite character.
But she's the wife from My Wife and Kids.
My favorite show.
She was also in Little Shop of Horrors.
My favorite film.
She's just great. Come on.
I love that they put a lot of effort and accentuation on the fact that her nipples aren't in the upper area and are in fact down the bottom.
Yeah.
And I love that they just keep doing it.
I did like when he basically
slaps it up.
Yeah, that was really good.
I did like her reaction, like, he's a director.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Classic. I love the fact that she is what you would imagine Frozone's wife being.
Yeah,
in Incredibles.
Off screen, you never see her, but you can imagine it, right?
This is her, right?
Yeah.
And
would
he's
you have
Frozone.
Would you have liked it if she had this really long rambling monologue and just part of it you could hear her saying, "I cleaned your Frozone suit, I done."
Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah.
If this is in the Incredibles universe and Seth Rogen was in it, yeah, I'd love it. Where Seth Rogen plays Dash, all grown up. Hey, Dad, I run fast. Yeah, I love how he really is a Beavis and Butthead type character, Seth Rogen. He's come to life. I wonder what editing software they're using.
Shit covered. That's not shit on. Okay,
you got it
shit
wrong.
Covered.
Shit covered.
Yeah, that's right.
love in all American movies, every single house has a basement and an attic. I've never lived in a house with a basement.
It's a very American thing.
I've never lived in a house with an attic.
Yeah.
I've never, let alone, lived in a house with both a basement and an attic.
Yeah. Well, their houses are built differently to ours. Their roofs are a lot larger.
My dad's house in Poland has a basement.
Your dad's house in Poland also has like a gajillion toilets and a urinal. So
you needed
3
that basement
bathrooms,
for the
right?
Second World War.
One of them has a urinal as well.
3 bathrooms and one of them has a urinal. And how many people live there?
3, one of which is a man.
You don't say. There's a urinal involved.
Got his own personal urinal.
Well, love that. Well, that's one of the public ones. It's like the most.
I love that you have to
public,
clarify that. Like it's a public one because my father always is hosting many public events.
It's the one downstairs.
I love the idea. It's the public one, so the people walking on the streets can just open up the front door, walk into the urinal.
I meant like for visitors. Yeah.
No. You said public.
I know. I tried to cover my ass when I said that.
Well, you can't if you're using a urinal. You have to use a toilet for the ass cover.
I mean, you can zip, I guess. But I do pull down my pants, so yeah.
Right down to your ankles?
When you're at the urinal.
Well, I don't pull them down like to my ankles.
You're not like.
I'd love to see that. Just like walking in and someone's just got their pants around their ankles.
I'm not Butters from South Park.
Yeah.
I was going to reference
pull down, lift shirt.
Yes.
I was going to reference Unappreciated Masterpieces. You're not. What's his name? The Universe from Friday After Next.
Oh right.
Right.
Cat Williams.
You're not Cat Williams when he's in Friday After Next and he's told like, hey man, you got a nice outfit, make sure not to piss on it. So when you see him, he's got his pants all the way to the floor because he didn't think about it. And then Terry Crews comes in and rocks the scene as usual.
Don't we love Terry Crews?
I mean, the weakness of this movie is the lack of Terry Crews. Can you imagine if Craig Robinson's wife was Terry Crews? Because Terry Crews has big titties.
Yeah.
We've seen them. We've seen what he can do.
I mean, I've seen it many a times what Terry Crews can do with those titties.
Yeah.
He like flexes them a bit in.
He makes them dance.
Yeah.
He also
plays the drums with them.
He also flexes them to choke people.
He plays the drums with them on an ad.
Yes, he does. Yeah. On the Old Spice ad.
Yeah, Old Spice.
I just use my tummy for that.
To play the drum. You know it's
power.
You know it's the saddest part. I thought of Bartek using his belly as drumstick. He's grabbing his gun and slapping it on drum.
On like a really big drum.
Yeah.
No.
Like
you have
a
a full
timpani.
drum kit and you have to be like smack, smack, smack. And you have to like move a lot. I would love
Maybe
that.
I should train to like jut out my stomach.
You have to be you have to become a sumo wrestler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to become a big fat bastard in Austin Powers 3.
Big fat bastard.
Yeah. You have to become him in Austin Powers 3 when he was a sumo wrestler. Yeah, so the thing is...
Tile on that wall's hideous. Yeah.
Wow.
You wait until the end of the movie to say that.
You know what's the weirdest thing? We've covered many movies on this podcast.
Yep.
And in fact, Liam, we've had more mundane criticisms on things. Like there's an episode we did called On the X in which one of our guests was focused on what that plug in the wall was plugged in.
Yeah, like a bedroom plug. It's like, oh, well, it's the lamp, right?
Yeah.
It's the lamp. And they're like, no, because if you look over there's a lamp's plug going into that one. And it's like, phone charger? Guys, they didn't have phones that needed charging with that kind of plug back then.
Yeah,
like, oh, God.
You know what I just realized, Ryan? We've done 4 Seth Rogen films. Half of those episodes, the guest has been named Liam.
There you go.
Okay. It's a reasonably common.
The other Liam had 2 L's.
Yeah, because it's Welsh.
Pardon me?
His one is Welsh, so it's spelled with 2 L's.
So like a double L at the start?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's pronounced like
Liam.
Do you pronounce it differently?
No, it's just pronounced Liam.
Okay. All
You might know him. He's a well-known actor.
Oh,
He's a big improviser in Melbourne.
Yeah. He does, for Australian ads, he does...
Oh, that death insurance one?
He does he does life insurance ads.
Choosy or something?
Yes, you can't afford to be too choosy.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's a weird guy.
He was our teacher in uni.
Yeah, when we went to uni and studied drama, he was our improvisation teacher. And then I recognized him because he was in this great Australian ad where this father, who is Liam, not you, Liam, but our other Liam, was driving the car, and then he stops the car and looks at the kids and asks for money off of them.
Yep.
He's like, okay, so you got to pay me this much, and the kids are like, and then the little fat kid has money.
He also played actors in some Thank God You're Here sketches.
Oh yeah, and he was in Neighbours, of course.
Yeah.
But look, Jason Mewes' cock is out during the scene, and I think we need to, focus on that. Not enough male penis in movies. Like, when I watched Schindler's List, I thought to myself, where's the penis?
Where's Liam Neeson's penis?
I mean, I'm not saying people should go out of the way to do it on purpose, but
I think they do.
I mean, I think this one was on purpose, right?
Yeah. Oh, well, I think
was in character.
In the trivia,
I think it fits with the movie.
In the trivia, Jason Mewes specifically said that when he opens the fridge and ducks down, he wants like the shadowy light to.
Man, and isn't that a funny scene though? For real, like that's actually pretty funny.
Yeah, it's almost as tasty as when we see Tommy Wiseau's ball sack from behind in the room.
I don't remember the ball sack. I just remember the ass.
No, we see the ball sack, dude.
I don't remember.
You aren't observant.
I'll have a look when I get home,
dude. If you want to see a back of ball sacks, go for more Neil Breen movies. He ain't afraid. He ain't human either. I do appreciate that, and like we were saying before, the fact that they show us both male and female nudity, and it's not for a movie that's about making porn. It's not played up for any kind of sexual gratification needs. It's not even really played up for
only for
much
Craig
comedy.
Robinson. Yeah, he's the only one really.
But his character.
Yeah.
But what I mean is,
We're
for
not,
the audience,
yeah.
for him as a character,
we don't identify with him.
Yeah, we don't. We laugh at him. We think, ha 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 ha. There is no free titty, which is a great monologue.
He's all about the marriage life jokes, seeing other tits.
Yeah,
that's like that free titty monologue would be like an audition monologue. like I want to get into this Shakespeare acting company, so I'm gonna perform the "There's no free titty, is there?" monologue. That's what I would perform. It's right up there with Frankie Muniz's monologue in Big Fat Liar about how his father choked on a meatball. We all remember that scene. Classic scene. So the movie, oddly enough, just ends.
Yeah,
ignoring the credit stuff,
Yeah, I feel like the credit stuff should be a part of the movie. What do you think?
That's a lot of credit stuff, so I feel like, with a lot of movies.
Do a lot of credits just interrupt themselves while they're still like in full screen?
Sometimes, yeah.
Because this one, like, they do the whole like, like the signal's just cut out and it cuts to the thing.
Sometimes
it feels unexpected.
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It just depends the film and the filmmaker.
Because usually they leave like room on the left side of the screen.
Yeah, no.
Or, like,
sometimes the Marvel movies just stop. Yeah, and just show you a scene mid credits. Usually you kind of know because the music fades out and you're like, uh-oh.
And then it says, that...
they're going to show us Woody Harrelson with a red wig on.
They'll show us how...
There's going to be carnage. Yeah. I was like, yay.
And then everyone's like, wow. And then it flashes up on the screen that Guardians of the Galaxy will return.
Yeah. Stay tuned for Guy Ritchie's Rock and Roller too. That kind of stuff. Yeah. So the movie did unfortunately end, except for it hasn't, because there's, like we said, a mid-credit scene, which I think we need to talk about before we give our reviews and ratings. It was hilarious. I think it should have been in the movie. I actually I kind of wish that the movie kind of geared towards them building this business that they eventually show that they have built.
It's definitely a time skip.
They did already do a time skip, though. Do you reckon that's why they didn't put it at the end?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I do like the idea, though, that they've started this production company that
and they even mentioned
for couples to make their own homemade pornography, which I think is actually a neat idea, and I wonder if it's a real idea. Probably.
I don't know if it is, but I can say I would be into that. I think that'd be a rad thing.
That's part of like a special.
But the best boy's nickname is Sasquatch. Just wanted to point that out. Yeah,
they indicate in that sequence that they even made a sequel to the porn that they were making in this. So definitely,
and they made all the Star Wars.
Yeah.
And I do like even though it's cheesy, I like that Zack and Miri are like, not only are we presidents of this company, but clients. Yeah. So it's like,
I reckon there should be a sequel to this movie called Zack and Miri Make a Promo, and they go into like the advertising business. They have to sell their integrity.
I just gave Bartek a hard stare because Bartek messaged me about.
So Google, it's prudish. It won't, like, you know how it suggests things when you're typing?
Right,
It won't do, like, swear words or things like pornos.
Right.
So two of the things that it suggested when I was typing in Zack and Miri Make a Porno is one of them was just Zack and Miri Make a P.
Right.
And another one was Zack and Miri Make a Promo.
Fuck off. Really?
Yeah dude.
Yes! It's in the cards, man. It's got to happen.
The sequel, man. Get onto it, Kev. Come on, big Kev.
Yeah, it could be about, like, them selling their integrity and, trying to make something from their heart in an industry.
Yeah, they're trying to get into the, like, advertising biz.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And they're competing with Justin Long.
Yeah, who now has also turned around and he has, like, his own production value company.
It's going to happen any second.
Yeah, but I did love that in the post-credits we get more Justin Long and how he is, like, just so great. And,
Nigger Rich Productions.
Nigger Rich Productions. What a great name. I love it. Yeah, see, this is what I love about Craig Robertson. This is kind of like how his attitude is when he's in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Like this weird kind of, I don't know. It's
uninhibited confidence.
Uninhibited confidence. Yeah, it's just so odd. And it's like he's a huckster. I like him when he does that kind of stuff. But usually I see him as like the black guy in the movie who is like, I make the jokes.
Well, in this film, his first scene with you guys' favourite character was like leaning on his whole Black Friday thing.
But then he never really utilizes that kind of comedy again in the movie, so it's kind of like, I
mean, what would he have grabbed onto? The fact that a guy was covered in shit?
No, what I mean is, he didn't... when you watch movies, there are certain things, he does this in a lot of his movies, racial-based humor. Yeah. So his character in the end, when you first get introduced to him, you think, his humor is going to be based around racial stuff. Yeah. But it's never really brought up again in the movie with his character. You know what I mean? He's not doing it.
I guess to an extent, I'm glad that they just got it out of the way.
No, I agree.
Yeah. He's not a one-dimensional character by the end of it.
Oh, Justin Long.
So you probably smiled a lot at this part because Justin Long came back, right?
Yeah, I was really happy, and I loved how he harassed the couple in the background, like the guys doing a porno, and they just have no idea what's going on.
I did like their confusion.
I loved his voice too. Just Justin Long's put on
that kind of posh American voice.
Posh. You know what it reminded me of? You remember in The Simpsons, Carl? The one that fell in love with Homer was his personal assistant when Homer grew hair.
Yes.
When Homer grew hair.
And he was working for Mr.
The
Burns.
duplex guy, what's his name?
The Harvey Firestein.
Firestein.
Firestein. Yeah, the guy in Independence Day.
Yeah.
I gotta find my mother.
I was thinking
I gotta find my lawyer.
I was thinking of the other Carl, but hey, Homer, what's going on?
Is that what your Carl voice is?
Well, he has that kind of weird voice, doesn't he?
Like Lenny equals white, Carl
Lenny
equals
and
black.
Carl.
Yeah. Sorry, I love your Carl voice was what?
Sylvester Stallone almost.
Hey,
Homer. He's like got like a nasal. He's like his nose is blocked.
It's because he's got a big nose.
Yeah.
But your Carl voice sounds nothing like Carl. But I just like that's Carl's voice, right? I'm like.
Well, I was just indicating the block nose.
It's weird because I never think of Carl having a distinct voice out of him and Lenny. Lenny has the distinct voice.
They both have distinct voices.
I think Lenny has the really distinct voice, and Carl just has a voice. I don't think of his voice as particularly like a distinctive voice that we could all go, oh, remember that great Simpsons voice of Carl?
I know it's not like one of the big ones.
I see what you're saying, but I feel like they would have been cast with each other's voices in mind.
Well, obviously, but like... But I
feel like it's distinct enough.
There's a distinct thing happening to that voice. Like it's
well, obviously.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying.
You know what I love? There could also be that just the actor's voice as well, because let's not forget the chick who does Lisa. That's just her voice.
Yeah.
And let's not forget Phil Hartman as Lionel Hutz and Troy McClure and Lyle Lanley.
Yeah.
They're all the same voice. And fun fact, just randomly, they did a table read one time with Phil Hartman, and everyone just like, Phil Hartman's great. He does all these great voices. They did a table read one time where it had both Lionel Hutz and Troy McClure in the same episode. And that's when they realized he can't change, because he tried to change his voice so no one would know. It's like, that's not Troy McClure's voice. But and surely, it's like, oh, he has the same voice.
But surely Carl's voiced by one of the 3 or 4 that like do all the male voices, right? What's the chance that of all the characters that actor does, that's his real voice?
Maybe
the one where his nose is blocked, but for the rest of the characters, he unblocks.
I wonder who does it. Is it the guy who does?
I'm bad at naming which character is which actor.
I can't remember. There's one called like something Lamar. I can't remember.
Lamar?
Is it Phil? Maybe it's Phil Lamar. Is he the? I think he's the one who does like Hermes on Futurama, and he's also in Pulp Fiction.
He's also a vamp from Metal Gear Solid.
Don't you mention?
He's the guy that gets shot in the back of the brains in
the brains.
Pulp Fiction.
So the movie has ended. Hey, they had a Blondie song in here. Great. But like, so Bartek, let's hear a review and rating from you, because you are the porno expert.
No, but I'll give my
Oh,
review.
okay. So we just got insight. Bartek does not know anything about pornography. He's never watched it. His mum and former teacher are listening, and they're like, "Good boy, Bartek."
There's only like one friend I've had that's like, "Oh, you gotta watch some porn." And he showed me some. It's like, oh no.
Who's this friend?
His name was Greg.
Yeah. Like, I feel like some of that, like, that's so normal in a lot of circumstances, but it's just nothing that comes up in my life. Like, none of my friends are like, hey man, watch this one. You know what I mean? It's such a private, it's a private act.
The only time I've gone into major pornography discussions is, we have a friend whose name is Sam, and he's come on the podcast, and he will jokingly talk about this one pornography he's watched, which is a Scooby-Doo pornography, and I have also seen this pornography, and we both just talk about how comedic it is.
Yeah.
Because it's basically like Scooby's lost, so they immediately rule out the weird bestiality aspect of it, and they all have to search for Scooby, and Shaggy is with Daphne, and he's like, "Oh, geez, Daphne, I think he might be up your dress."
So flimsy. But I love it.
Immediately fingers up.
Oh, man.
So, Bartek, let's hear from you.
The porn expert.
The porn expert. No, like a pawn shop expert. Yeah, you're like just pawning things off.
Right.
I love secondhand. My favorite technique. Do
you have any buddies that know about it? That's a bad joke. Just continue.
Did you not hear about Greg?
Yeah.
This film, I really enjoyed revisiting it. Usually when I watch a film with my stepbrother, it's a lot more of a casual experience. Like, I'm not as analytical about the films I watch, to the point where I almost want to rewatch them again on my own, just so I can have, like, that lone experience.
So you can soak it in.
And definitely this was one when I was younger, when I watched it. You know, old enough to watch an MA film without, you know, No from Miss Galbridis. But,
shout out to Miss Galbridis, I love you.
Love you. She's also like...
She's your core listener base. That's your demographic right there.
I've been wondering who that person was. I thought it was just us, but it's her all along.
Yeah.
But definitely, you know, wasn't aware of Kevin Smith at the time, so directed by Kevin Smith could have meant anything.
Yep.
It was a Seth Rogen comedy film. Liam agrees with everything I say.
I'm just engaged in what you're saying.
I know.
He is so engaged that he took his wedding ring off so that you could give him an engagement ring to put on his finger so that you are engaged, and then he takes your last name.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's a long one. I haven't even told him my last name.
Ooh, go ahead. I'm interested.
Kasprzyszak.
Spell it. No, you don't, Bartek. He does. Give it a go.
All right, say it again, and I'll try to spell it.
Yeah,
go.
Say it, Bartek.
Kasprzyszak.
Kasprzyszak. So, K.
Good job.
Yeah.
Okay. U.
No.
Damn it. A.
Yeah.
Yes.
U.
No.
Fuck.
Keep going.
There are only two vowels, so we got one of them down.
Oh man, I'm already lost.
Okay.
This is painful. Let me see.
He's got to spell it out for the listening people at home.
Okay, so it is Kasprzyszak. I never would have got that. Szak. Yeah, man, I would have struggled with that end part as well.
My one's easy. It's just Sliwinski. Spell that.
Sliwinski.
Yeah.
Slowin. Oh, SLO.
You only got one letter wrong there.
It's SLI.
SLIWEN. INSKI.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
My one's easier than his.
Yeah.
My one doesn't have pointless Z's in there.
Silent Z's.
Well, in Polish, SZ means like SH in English.
Good for you.
Right,
So you
yeah.
give this film 5 stars, right?
I didn't even finish my point.
Okay, sorry.
I thought your point was that you have a name.
Well, that was the tangent.
What's that now? Okay, sorry.
The point I was making was, you know, when I first watched it, I was just like thinking of it as a comedy.
Yep.
But now having grown up and I'm rewatching it, definitely that first part of the film before they decided to make the porn felt like, you know, a Seth Rogen comedy more typically. But then when they started making the porn and like showing kind of a more wholesome side to the thing, even though you do have crazy things like, you know, bad line reading, bad delivery, the shit jokes, things like that, it shows a very human side to these people that, you know, and even their reasons for doing the porn is sympathetic. Like, they need some money quick. And
it's basically the plot to Rent, the musical, yeah.
Yeah, it's a low-budget venture to do.
Yeah.
It's basically the plot to Rent, the musical, but with less AIDS.
And I was really blown away by the fact that I forgot that it gets the Seth Rogen and Elizabeth Banks' acting towards the end when they realize they're in love with each other. I think that this is a really good film. which apparently bombed, or no, I think it made its money back, but it's called a bomb.
It wasn't like
it wasn't box office bomb, box office bomb, but it wasn't like Marvel movie.
Apparently, it really soured the relationship between Kevin Smith and Harvey Weinstein. So that's something that we have to.
It's probably because Weinstein tried to diddle him and he didn't let him.
Oh, how sad! That relationship got bitter,
soured,
sour and bitter.
I think that this is a really good film and that everyone should check it out. Walk into it with an open mind. Don't just think that it says porno and it has, Seth Rogen in it, so it's going to be her and sex appeal galore or something like that.
Sex appeal
galore at the same time.
So, no, that's Seth Rogen standing out the front of the cinema trying to get you to buy tickets. See this movie got sex appeal galore. What's your rating, buddy?
I actually did think of a rating earlier, but it's just completely slipped my mind. I give this film a triple Dutch rudder.
Okay.
I'm innovative.
So this film, I'm going to give it the review and rating it deserves from my point of view, which is, hey guys, it's pretty good. No,
that's Seth Rogen's point of view.
Yeah,
I'm him, guys.
That's what he would say though. For
You're
real,
not bearded.
I'm him, guys. Oy vey. So, look, this film is very interesting for someone like myself who's a first timer, but also someone who's well versed in the Kevin Smith filmography. This is one of those ones where, I could see people who didn't like his one of his previous films, the one we covered last time, which was Jersey Girl, where that felt like more of a commercial, sappy, romantic movie. This is more in his wheelhouse, but it's still got that sentimentality that he learned from Jersey Girl and Chasing Amy, say. I appreciate that he blends both that kind of gross comedy and pop culture stuff with the romantic subtlety and sweetness that he can also master. And as we're going to discover along the way covering his movies, he's a real genre-bending director. He'll go on later to do really good horror stuff or horror-inflected stuff, which I wouldn't think he would be capable of doing, but I think he does it very well. And this is yet another thing where I was like, I couldn't think of him doing that kind of, your Hollywood Seth Rogen comedy movie, but he does do it, but he does do it in his own style. If I have to give this movie a rating, which I, of course, do have to, I'd have to give it out of that's 5.
5 out of 5.
5 out of 5's hers.
5 out of 5. That's an exceptionally high rating.
That is pretty high.
Yeah.
Not almost as high as Seth.
Yeah. On any regular day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your rating was his Santa impression.
So let's hear from you, Liam.
You know what? I reserve my 5s out of 5 for what I would consider a masterpiece.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give this one
a 5. Yeah.
3 let us fucks out of 5.
Can I talk you up to 4?
No.
How about 3.5?
Because I'd consider 3.5.
Okay.
Because
can we talk you up to 3.5?
I'm going to say 3.5 then.
Great. So
I'll get
that's okay.
3 lettuce fucks and a lettuce.
Okay, so we're talking up to 3.5. It's locked in 3.5. What about 4?
No, I'm going 3.5.
What about 3.8?
So I think that this is such an easy movie to watch. And it is. It's a very easy movie to watch. It's very enjoyable in general. It's not a masterpiece. I'm not thinking about it 2 weeks later. But if it ever comes up in conversation and someone asks me if they should watch it, I'm absolutely going to tell them it's a great movie.
Yeah, as a married man, I've got to ask you, would you say date movie?
Absolutely date movie.
Yes.
Doesn't have nearly as much sex scenes as you would anticipate, not knowing what the movie is.
Yeah, it's no Friends with Benefits with Mila Kunis
Yeah.
and Justin Timberlake. You're pretty right on that.
And it's like not like some of the sex scenes are just so over the top that it's kind of like it's not a sex scene, you know? Yeah.
They're really emphasizing the comedy.
Yeah.
Can I give you a fun fact, Bartek? You know how you translate localized titles for things? There's that movie Friends with Benefits that I just mentioned.
Yep.
I was once hanging out at my high school. We got New Caledonian kids.
French kids.
Exchange kids. And they had that movie come out. And we were saying Friends with Benefits. It's like, that's not what it's called in my country, in New Caledonia. It's like, what's it called? It's called The Sex Friends.
Very accurate.
That is the best title ever.
You do get some Polish titles that are just like really, like basically descriptions.
Yeah,
of
like
the film.
Jeff China goes to Jersey. Yeah. So Bartek, you have
Jeff China from Jersey. Yeah.
amassed some comments from the interwebs, from
did.
YouTube.
the realm that I'm sure...
YouTube.
Don't we all love YouTube?
Oh, yeah. The comment sections are always
if you listen to Jersey Girl, I didn't bring any YouTube comments.
So you got some from there on IMDb, I imagine. Hit us in the loincloth.
That's
where the groin is, unless there's a pornographic
it's very
movie.
flappy,
Flappy. Flappy. Oh, yeah. Or, hit us. Flap us.
Flap our loins.
Very visual. Yes.
The first, I've gotten 5 comments from YouTube. When I say 5, the last one is a string of comments.
Okay, beautiful.
The first comment that I've gathered is such. This looks fucking terrible. Anybody who pays to see this movie should be shot in the face with a cannon.
Wow, a whole cannon.
Yeah.
Wow.
Think about setting that up, Ryan.
Very archaic. This is that person may as well be a spokesman for YouTube commenters everywhere, because that is the quintessential YouTube comment.
But it's just the face, not the head.
I think that they are a corporate stooge from the Canon industry.
From Canon Film Production?
Oh, you think it's guerrilla marketing for cannons?
I was thinking more guerrilla marketing for cannons.
Yeah.
But then there's the Canon movies.
Or shoot a film company with a...
Okay.
Anyway, the next comment is... a question, actually.
Oh, good, we can answer it.
Yeah.
Who got a boner while watching this movie?
Me.
The next comment is...
thank you for moving on from that.
You're not going to answer it
We're not going to say anything else. I'll just make a noise. All right, let's move on.
Fun fact, that was his boner.
To quote our ex-Prime Minister... I've given you the answer you deserve.
Which, honestly, is
very,
just such a good line.
very topical, yeah.
The next comment is, holy fuck, that's what I'm going to see tonight? Lol, can't wait. I'll write a review, smiley face.
Oh, what a positive YouTube comment.
Did they write a review?
I hope they did. All these comments were from 10 years ago, by the way.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, well,
The next comment is, I saw this tonight right after I voted. Laughed my ass off.
They would have voted for Obama.
How irrelevant. That sounds like a lie.
Then came home and Obama won. Great night.
That sounds like a lie because there's too many details.
There's way too many, but at the same time, I feel like Obama wrote this review and he's just secretly telling us.
Yeah. Well, he can't use his own...
He's doing a humble brag about how he won.
Do you reckon Obama has a YouTube account? Surely he's got a
Gmail.
Gmail.
Dude, Will Smith has one, so I guess he must.
And everyone saw the rewind video.
He's like the Will Smith of politics, right?
Yeah.
He's like the Fresh Prince
Fresh
of the
Prince of
White
politics.
House.
It's kind of crazy to think about how this is a film
Fresh
from
Prince
the
of
George
Washington.
Bush era.
Yeah.
Junior.
So, hit us.
The final comment, and this is the one that has replies.
Great.
Now, just to be clear, I don't know if the reply system worked when this came out, but I found comments that were clearly responding to each other, but they weren't directly. So I've put them together from what I could find.
Cool. Yep.
Good.
The initial commenter says this. This Seth Rogen is not only a terrible actor, but he is horribly unfunny. People think that he has talent. It troubles me. Anything that he is in caters anything that he is in caters to the LCD.
Oh, man. I love that he
I think
says
lowest common denominator.
Yeah.
No, go on. No, he meant LCD sound system. That's what he meant.
And there are two responses.
He always caters to the fans of... He caters to the band members of LCD sound system, yeah.
There are two replies from different people. The first one is, I think he has an Uncle Sol who got him into the biz.
Okay.
And another comment says, you're not an actor, you're not funny, but he gets money for what he does regardless, as I doubt he gives a shit what you think.
Yeah.
And the initial commenter
He got
responds...
owned.
The initial commenter responds...
I'm Sir Patrick Stewart. How dare you?
Not quite. His response is, you're wrong. I am an actor. My name is Keanu Reeves. I may not be... I may not be funny, but I do get paid large. You see, the unwashed masses will always shell out cash to go see whatever Hollywood conditions them to see. What else are people going to do? Stay at home and read classics like Harry Potter and Stephen King?
Oh, Keanu. I didn't expect that twist.
And there's one more response, and it indicates to me that there were some comments deleted.
Oh, by Keanu, I imagine.
Yeah.
The response is this. I'm supposed to believe that Keanu Reeves made a YouTube account called PayPuss3, tells people to go eat Pop-Tarts, listens to Slayer, and, quote, ate a watermelon seed and pooped out a cantaloupe. Yeah, no.
Love it.
I think it's all true. I think Keanu did write that.
PayPuss3?
I think it was like, he was just like, well, I'm in between the time where I wasn't doing a Matrix movie and I wasn't in John Wick. Also, remember that dark time?
Yeah.
Also, sorry, his username had one S, so it's PayPuss3, I guess.
Well, that's a reference to the movie.
Maybe.
No, I mean, it is a reference to the movie.
Was there?
There was a line reading where the guy says, yeah, I gotta pay you in the puss. And it's like, no, it's the puss. It's
the puss. Good point.
So, there you go. Reference. Is that it, Bartek?
I've got one short IMDb review, then I'm done.
Is it by Keanu Reeves?
I didn't check the username.
Okay, good.
Can we call him? Is that
Keanu?
a thing you guys have? Yeah. Okay, alright.
Get the phone.
Okay, I'm gonna phone him. 000. Hello?
I am an actor.
Emergency services? I need Keanu on the phone right now. Right away, Mr. Sliwinski. Boop, boop, boop.
And they've got one of those ones where they physically patch you. And
the waiting music is kind of like Eastern spiritual music and like wind and wind chimes. And then you hear he's like, hello, it's me, Keanu.
No,
he says
says,
like, you hear him shooting
I
people.
love that he announces himself because you've called.
No, he says
his own name.
He says, I am an actor. My name is Keanu Reeves. I may not be funny, but I do get paid large. You see the unwashed masses.
He was funny in Bill and Ted.
I think he's funny.
Yeah. He was funny in Johnny Mnemonic.
I agree.
I want a hooker. I want a burger. Yes. I want somebody to do my laundry. He was great.
Anyway, the IMDb review.
Yes.
The title of this review is called Kevin Smith is Getting Emotional All of a Sudden? ?
Oh man, you didn't see Jersey Girl.
Yeah.
It is from December the 12th, 2008, and it is a 7 out of 10 review.
So a good review.
That's good, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's no 10, but yeah.
Most of this review is in lowercase, but there is a part that is all caps.
Oh, good.
Oh, great.
Shadow
caps.
Like I said, is Kevin Smith getting emotional all of a sudden or what? I mean, the movie was fun, but not Kevin Smith fun. Or one word.
Mm-hmm.
It lacked all the things we expect from Kevin Smith. Like in Clerks, all the jokes, the tension, the plot, everything. It feels like watching Chasing Amy all over again.
Oh, no.
I mean, there were funny moments, but not the good stuff. Only gooey romance and all that. If you're the romantic type, good for you. But I know we expected something else from Mr. Smith. What I miss most is where...
Sorry, they're on formal terms now. Yeah. Mr. Smith.
As opposed to Kevin Smith, one word.
That was using it as a terminology.
What I miss most is that where's Jay and Silent Bob? Man, even in Chasing Amy, they had 5 minutes of shine.
This person is insufferable. Yeah,
but
continue.
here we...
They had 5 minutes of shine. Like they got the shinning, yeah.
But here we only see Jason Mewes and his, quote, screwdriver. I don't want to brag, but I speak on behalf of many when I say we want Jay and Silent Bob back. I'm waiting for a sequel to Clerks.
Brag. Yeah, right,
dude, they made Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. You can just watch that.
I'm waiting for a sequel to Clerks 2, but maybe that will never come.
Spoiler, it didn't come yet.
That's it.
That's it. Well, I'm soz to him.
That was a 7 out of 10 review, by the way.
Also, like, isn't something Kevin Smith makes inherently a Kevin Smith thing?
No.
Like, how do you claim that something he has made is not Kevin Smith?
I don't know. There are those movies where it's like people think it was actually made by certain other directors. I always think of Poltergeist.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, that wasn't Tobe Hooper, the guy who did Texas Chainsaw. It's clearly a Steven Spielberg movie.
It was directed by that character I mentioned from the video game last week that's named Kevin Smith.
There you go. So thank you, Bartek, for amassing those comments from the internet.
No worries.
And thank you, YouTube, just in general, for
The
always
internet.
having a colourful
The internet
comment
is
section.
a beautiful section. So next episode in our Kevin Smith month is Cop Out.
Okay.
The Bruce Willis, Tracy Morgan cop buddy movie We all know Bruce Willis.
Yep.
We all know Tracy Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Tracy Morgan has that famous catchphrase he likes to say, which is, I got her pregnant. And then he slaps his belly. Like, that's actually something he does.
Right
Yeah.
on.
Right on, yeah.
Take
Liam,
her behind the bleachers and make her pregnant.
take her behind the bleachers and make her pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how he speaks.
Mm-mm-mm.
Thank you for coming on, Liam, and covering Zack and Miri Make a Porno. So,
Just
tell us,
barely, yeah.
tell us more about your podcast and where we can find you.
Plug yourself.
Plug your holes.
All general podcasting platforms. You know, pretty much everyone's got Spotify now, so just go and find it there. It's Miscellameous, miscellaneous spelt with an M.
Yeah, because you're lame.
That's it. Yeah,
M instead of N, right?
Yeah.
So when you guys were throwing darts at the board of what names you were going to have for your podcast, that's the one that hit, was it?
I don't know. I thought of it.
You were like,
pretty
I
much
want
immediately.
it to be hard for people to remember, like, to not say the real word.
Yeah. I wanted it to be really hard for people to find it. I didn't want people to chance upon it accidentally.
Our podcast needs to be found.
Yeah,
not
basically,
just there.
Well, this podcast title is just 2 long words. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was scared we would be too successful too quickly.
Yeah,
so I thought we'd
exactly.
just make it really difficult. Because there's just barely anyone in podcasting.
That's so
you know,
underground. That's so underground.
you know, because there's barely any podcasting around and like no one does it. I just thought we'd like shoot to fame immediately. So we just have to make it a little bit harder for ourselves.
You guys at home, make sure to find the Miscellameous. How often do you guys put out episodes?
We release an episode a week. They're 15-minute episodes, 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's a short quiz each time. Yep, bite-sized episodes.
Bite-sized.
Super fun, super hilarious. You have suggestions, you can fucking message me on Instagram or some shit. I'll probably tool it into an episode. I love doing that kind of stuff.
So what's your Instagram?
Same thing, yep, at Miscellameous.
Okay. And you guys got Twitter and Facebook?
Yeah, absolutely.
Whatnot.
Yeah.
You don't use Twitter though, do you?
No.
This is how I found them. We were messaging, like we were responding to the other podcasts that we've had on the show, the Shaken Not Nerd guys, and these guys were defending the quality of Jack and Jill.
That was me specifically.
I know. I didn't want to point. I didn't want to say your name.
Yeah,
but like,
I'm fine with it.
And I was just like, how dare... It was like... It was a thread of what's a movie that is your guilty pleasure, and I said Nothing But Trouble, and a bunch of ones we covered on the show, and then Jack and Jill, and I'm like, how dare you? And it was just like a back and forth, and then they disappeared forever. But yeah, you're on the social medias, and weekly, you know, find them, listen to them. Who knows? Maybe we'll be on there one day. Who knows?
We can only hope. Woo.
Spooky.
I don't know why we've got... Can we release this in October?
Yeah, exactly. No, we've all died since this has been released. And now it's like really haunting because they're listening. People are like, and they never did go on there because they died.
At the end of the episode, you cut to white noise for 30 minutes and people listen to it and try to make out like...
This was recorded in 2013.
And then you have dialogue from us, but it's in reverse. and then when they put it in forward, it's like... We are dead.
Very to the point.
Very to the point.
Not poetic.
But in Polish, we are dead, but in Polish. So then they have to also
translate it. Yeah.
Can we go with "We're not alive"?
We are not alive.
Nie żyjemy. Nie żyjemy.
So, and you can also find us on all the podcast platforming sites. Give us ratings and reviews. Same with the Miscellameous boys. When you give them a listen, it's always helpful. Spread all the podcasts that you listen to, including ours, like a virus.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Just cough it in people's faces. Just be like walking past an innocent civilian and be like, spin polish in their face. And then they're like, oh, and they just
spit.
Here's a fun thing. When you find someone's phone, add your podcast to
their
plays.
phone. I've done that. I'm a jerk. I've done that. So, until next time, our mighty listening people, you've got to remember to, be kind to each other, I guess. Just if you want.
Guys, I'd like to just show you guys this technique I discovered. It's called the triple Dutch rudder.
I've got an understanding of how this one's going to work. And then we just do it. We just and then
Ryan, no, grab my arm.
And instead of ejaculating, we just have like a streamer noise effect.
You know what's tough in that scenario though is like when the first two people finish, and
then the last one's got to still work too.
Yeah.
That's all.
Wait,
awkward.
They would have finished though.
Yeah, that's it. So wrong way around. Yeah, the two have to work the one guy, and he's just like, it's the
finish
pressure.
me. Yeah.
Feed
No, finish me. I love the idea. It's a video
Mortal Kombat.
It's a video game.
Yeah.
Finish him.
Yeah,